where I haven't been able to get to a point where I've been able to discuss this on a let's say on a phone call or on a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting or.
Fair enough. So look, all I'm going to say to you is keep an eye out for those emails. Harry would have sent you an email. Harry, if you could just make sure that you've sent Joseph an email regarding that. Get onto the Project Winner stuff, because we're doing a squad. It's going to start in 2 weeks' time, and that squad is going to be powerful. We do run that squad on the E12 3 times a year, and it's going to drive revenue for the whole year for you. Okay, so so we've got 2 more weeks of that E12. One of the videos we recorded from the session last week, Thursday. Watch that video, powerful, the reasons why, the mindset, and then we're doing a session again on Thursday, and then we're doing a session again on Tuesday next week, and then the squad gets together. It'll be about 10 of us doing a squad at least, and then that'll be more fun as well. Okay. That's just something we're going to do for you. So just make sure you jump on that, because we only do it 3 times a year. You're just in the right time to do it. So jump on that there. I'm just going to hand back over to PJ now. Quickly, PJ, would you just like to do some bit of housekeeping for those?
So good morning to everybody. Just a bit of housekeeping, just rules and regulations for Zoom. Obviously, everybody's on Zoom. For those people who've never been on Zoom before, most people use Teams that we know, and most of our clients do, but we still use Zoom because we're a lot of clients around the globe. And if you come in, guys, just please mute yourselves. If you can, put your camera on. It's a live workshop. We like to see interaction between people and faces, and get to know people while we're going through each different tasks that we're going through. So if it is possible to turn your camera on, great. If it's not, if you guys are driving, that's fine. Also, please bear in mind, you guys need to have plenty of water substance, because there's a bit of a long journey as we go through certain items. So there will be time for you to go to the jazz, as we call it, the toilet, go and grab a cup of coffee or something like that. But please just be courteous, and just remind, if you're in a place that's loud and noisy, just remember to mute yourself when you guys jump in. Okay. There will be calendar links and workbooks and stuff that gets put into the chat. So just have a look out for that. Janely is going to be running things in that background, looking for chats and questions. So any questions, please, guys, raise your hand or unmute yourself and just ask us any question that you've got, so we can go over it again and make sure there's clarity on what we're presenting. Okay, it's very important for you guys to give us feedback, ask questions, and get something out of this session, because it's 4 hours. And what we're trying to do is add value to everybody. Okay, right. So if you guys can just type in the chat, just see if it's working. Just tell us in the chat quickly where you're from. That'll be great, just so we can get the chat going. Before we just start, we just give some time for other people to jump into the call, and then we'll get cracking. So just 1 minute, just put in the chat where you guys are located. Generally, if you can just have a look at the chat, just tell us where everybody's from.
Just in case anyone doesn't know where I'm from.
Okay, obviously Janely is in the Philippines. Ian's based in Sydney. Joseph, we also know, is in Sydney. Matthew, Tony, Ashley. Matthew's in Noosa. Cool, Noosa. My brother-in-law lives up in Noosa Heads. Nice place. Scottsdale, Arizona. Thanks, Ashley. Okay, team are all ready to go, because it's quite a long session. We want to get things cracking. Right, so today's session, just a quick introduction on where I'm from. So my name's PJ. I'm based in the Gold Coast, just south of Brisbane. I run Loading Growth for Ian, who's the founder of Loading Growth. I actually do the lead generation, LG90 process, and coaching of lead generation for Loading Growth. One of our clients is on here, Joseph. Obviously, we haven't chat to him. So he's been through the LG90 and now he's progressing and hopefully get onto the E12, which is the sessions that we're going to be talking about today. So we've got a big base of people based in the Philippines, and I'll hand over to Ian just to give a brief introduction of himself, where he's from, what he's been doing, and then we'll go into today's session. Ian?
Yeah, thanks, PJ, for that. So I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I just got back yesterday, flying and traveling for about 24 hours. So I'm a bit jaded, but I've got a lot of caffeine to keep me going, which is a good thing. On the next thing is where I'm from, and I'm in Sydney, Australia at the moment. Travel a lot around the globe, back to travel more and more as COVID lifts up, which is fantastic. Background, been doing IT services for nearly 30 years, and had successful businesses, have exited out and then sold them to top global companies. Done a whole lot of exciting stuff. You can read about that on a web page or something to that effect. I look after the Everest 12 program. Okay, that's where we scale your business. I just wanted to quickly go through a bit of a concept. I had a call from a client yesterday. Well, actually, he's not a client who wants to become a client, and the call was pretty interesting because it was really around his motivation on actually doing things and actioning things. And what I really said to him is, if you're not ready to join us, don't join us. We want motivated people, okay? Because it's very hard to coach unmotivated people at all. But I said to him in a conversation yesterday, and I'm just going to read because I put some notes down this morning when I was grabbing my coffee, is, are you motivated to grow, Stephen? And he said he's not really sure. And I said, okay, well, what are your real options if you're not motivated to grow? Okay. I said, look, you could shut up house. You can go work for someone. You work for a competitor. All right. If you sort of want to maintain your business, well, then you're like in a death spiral with your business, because competition's moving all the time. Really important to keep that in mind. And if you're going to change your business as well, you're in a precarious position. If you're changing the model or design of where you want to go, that people are going to leave you behind, and the competition always picks up. So just bear that in mind, folks. Really, really want to make sure that if you join us at any point in anything in the future, make sure you're motivated to execute. All right. We bring the plans, we bring the structure, we bring the accountability, and we've been doing this for a long time. The team in Philippines, who I was with the whole of last week, basically helps our clients execute. The reason why we've got them to execute is because we coach the frameworks. We tell you exactly what to do, the right next thing, but we need a team to execute. And that's really important. Okay. Some of our clients take that up. Some of our clients do that in-house. We don't really care. We just want to make sure you guys go from A to B in your journey. Okay. What we're going to talk about today on the agenda is a lot of great things for you to review where you're at half year and understand, are you going where you want to go? And if not, how can you get there? So we're going to talk about the one-page strategy right at the end today. The one-page strategy is really, it is a one-page strategy, but on a PowerPoint packed 5 pages. Okay. Powerful to really understand where you want to go over the next year, 2 years, 3 years. If you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going. Okay. Really important. And that's what the one-page strategy is about, which you see on the screen. We're going to talk about the preloaded calendar. A lot of people come to us really busy, not doing the right next thing. We say to them, hang on, make sure we actually organize your calendar for you. Make sure you've got the right things planned. Like really, make sure your marketing is planned in there. Make sure your client events, your sales activities, your delivery activities, your holidays, your vacations. Make sure all that stuff is aligned and in the preloaded calendar. We're going to go through that today. All right. We're going to make sure that you guys can organize yourselves a little bit better so that you can execute on what you need to execute. Really important. We're going to talk about the E12 roadmap, something that we've been developing and keeps on developing. When we have our clients on the E12 and they join us, we actually sit down with them and work out what the right next thing is for their business, right? Because there's a lot of different things happening and there's a lot of little things that pop up all the time. And as entrepreneurs, that all of us are, it's very hard to stay focused on what is your right next thing. So a lot of people don't know what the right next thing is, Well, we'll work through that. We tell you that is what that is. But the next thing is how to make sure you execute on that. PJ runs in the E12, he runs the 6-week cycles to execute on those activities on the E12 roadmap. Really important to understand that. Okay. So really, the most important thing is to come play hard in this next 4 hours. Make sure you understand that whatever you put in now, you can execute after this. If you've got any questions, raise your hand or ask us a question. If you think it's bullshit, just shout it out. Let's get it open and let's have a discussion about it. We like a bit of a challenge here. Okay. The next thing we have to see is we've got a lot of information out there. Right. We're a coaching business, but we really passionate on what we do. So the Facebook account there is really important. Click on that. Okay. Connect with me on Facebook, because we'll then invite you to the group as well at the same time. You'll see a lot of content coming out of Facebook. We've got a lot of stuff. We actually launched the YouTube channel about a month ago. You're obviously already with us on LinkedIn. Carry on absorbing our information. We've also got an email series. Get on our email series. So send us an email directly at info@loadinggrowth.com. Get on to our warm email list if you're not, and make sure you consume the information there as well. So if you don't want to join us, that's cool. But there's a lot of information that we want to make sure that you're useful and you're learning and you're progressing in your business, and we're passionate about that as well. All right, I'm going to hand over to PJ around lead gen process and the outcomes. It's hell of important to listen to him. All right, we've done a lot of stats when our clients come on board. We review this stuff all the time. We tweak it, we make it the best. It is the best on the globe on what we do. All right, so listen up. PJ is going to give you some tips and tricks through this process and ask questions if you need to. So PJ, is that it? Good enough? Hand over.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go through quickly. Obviously, there are some guys who are on this call that are currently clients of ours. And I just want to go through quickly. It all leads into the E12, what we're trying to coach our clients in the E12. And what we found is there's a clear overlap between E12, what Ian's teaching about scaling your business and growing your business, and lead generation. Okay, so we just want to quickly touch in 15 minutes on currently having a look what your lead generation process is and what are the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. Okay, so I just want to open up to the floor quickly. Lead generation, what's our goal? What are we trying to achieve on lead generation? If anybody can unmute themselves and just tell us, what is our goal? What are we trying to achieve to lead generation? What are certain points that we're trying to get across and what we're trying to achieve and when we do lead generation? Was anyone brave enough to open
More
up?
clients, more money.
More clients, more money. Okay. So that's probably down to profit. Okay. Quality clients. Okay. Good one, Joseph.
Yep.
Anybody else? Okay. Fundamental foundations for lead generation. Okay. Is people got to get this right. Okay. We've got to show people and our clients value. Okay. We've got to build trust and influence those potential PFCs, as we call them, perfect future clients. We've got to show them value because we've got to build trust. Okay. And then we have to have the ability to go and influence those people and show them that we can actually solve their problem. Is that what we're trying to pitch at the end of the day? Okay. The other important part of lead generation is reach. Okay. We need to build a quality network. When we say a quality network, is that you've got to go and actually identify who your PFC is, your perfect future client is. You've got to do a persona of that person and ascertain. You need to have a very niche target approach. Once you've got that target approach, you then can go and reach and build a quality network on LinkedIn. Okay. And it's not building a network of people that you might know down the street, because you don't want to pitch to those people. You don't want to waste your time and energy on those people. So reach is very important and build a very high quality network. Okay. The next bit is visibility. Okay. Visibility is very important. Okay. And like I say, on all marketing channels. Okay, LinkedIn is just one of those marketing channels. But if you've got a lot of fresh content and you guys are producing content, you need to scale that content up and break it up into portion of bits and put it onto different marketing channels. Okay. Because not all your PFCs operate on LinkedIn. Okay, so it's very, very important to have your channels clearly defined and what are those channels going to be. Okay, the other part that's very important for us is to have influence. Okay, we need to build, like I say, a quality community. So we need to influence people, and we influence people by reaching out to them and making sure that we are the one-stop shop where we can actually say to them, we can provide a solution to you guys' problem. Okay. Does anybody else want to add anything onto that? Okay, so that's our focal points: value, reach, visibility, influence, and of course, profit. Quality clients. That's what we want. Okay. Now, a lot of people try and get this right. Marketing comes down to only 4 key elements, guys. Okay. And it's important to know these 4 key elements. Right. And this is very relevant on LinkedIn when we talk about LinkedIn. Okay. You've got to know what is really important and how you actually go to market. Does anybody know who comes maybe from a marketing background know what 4 key elements are in marketing? Anybody here from a marketing background want to have a crack? You can type it in, guys, if you're shy to unmute yourselves. Anybody? Nobody? Okay. So, number 1 is you've got to know what your message is. Okay, what I mean by that is you need to know what language you're speaking to your target audience. Okay? And you know how to go and create that message. You need to know what their pain points are and what the solutions are and put that into a packaged message. Okay, so people who read that message understand what you're trying to say. So you need to know a message, okay, to your target audience and what they want. Okay. The second most important thing is, guys, it's making it easy for your ideal customer, okay, to buy from you. Don't make it complex. Okay, the more friction you create is the less people are going to buy from you. So if it don't make it easy and understandable and what your offer is, people are going to be not be able to go and understand what your message is, and they're not going to understand how they're going to buy to you. Okay. So make it easy for a customer to buy from you. Okay. The other important part is your offer. You need to package up your offer so people understand what your offer is, and you need to go and market that specific offer in the correct spaces and places where your PFCs or perfect future clients operate on. Either email, or it's on Facebook, or it's on Instagram, or it's on LinkedIn, okay? Or TikTok, or any of those social media channels, okay? Predominantly for us, it's going to be LinkedIn that we deal with. Some of it's Facebook, but predominantly it is all LinkedIn and what we deal with on lead generation, okay? And the fourth thing is hell of important, is to measuring your results, guys. Measuring your results. You've got to measure everything that you do to have a return on your investment. And if you don't measure your results, you cannot adjust. When things are not going right, how do you know how to adjust and where to go from there? Okay. So that's very, very important. So your message to the right audience, okay, make it easy for your customer to buy from you, share your offer in the right places, and try things, measure the results, and adjust from there. Okay. Now, for us in loading growth for lead generation, okay, we built a framework that we operate on. Okay. Now, this is a huge framework that we go through and what we offer our clients in LG90. Okay. This is our basic model, what we do for all our clients that jump onto the LG90 program. Okay. And it's a huge amount of work. Okay. To go and be able to go and connect to people, to go and engage, just that part is a major part that we do. Okay. And why we do this is so successfully is that we've got a full-time CA that comes part of the program that we do, a campaign assistant. Okay. We call them CAs. There's a lot of work that goes involved in trying to do lead generation. It's not a basic send a message out on LinkedIn and get people rolling in. Okay. There's a lot of things that people have to understand on different aspects that we're going through. Okay. We're going to be talking about today on the other side of it. We're going to be talking about this side mainly. Okay. The income and how do we actually get, when we're chatting to Joseph early on, is how do we talk to clients on the phones when they do come through as leads? And that's what we're going to talk. I'll talk about later on. It's called Project Winner. And how do we approach people? Okay. So that's vitally important on part of the process. Okay. Now, when we talk about lead generation, as you can see on here, this specific diagram is what we go through with our campaign assistants, with our clients. Okay. All of this work that you can see here, it comes down to one thing. It comes down to having warm conversations with people. Okay. In order to have a conversation with people, okay, you have to have the right offer fit. You have to have the right profile on LinkedIn. Okay. You have to show your clients social proof, who you are, what you represent, who work you've done for people, and customers and clients who've actually recommended you to do work. That's vitally important as social proof. That's gaining trust. Okay. On the outbound, you have to go and target the right people, okay, with the right message framework, all right? And you have to go and encourage engagement, having conversations with people. Now, to have conversations with people, this is where the hard part comes in. It's content. Content is key. If you can go and produce good content out on LinkedIn, you'll be amazed on how many people are going to look at your profile and your profile views. Okay. One of our clients did a white paper on BR processes and so forth. It took him a while to produce that. He did it. He launched it. He had about 17,000 people go and look at his white paper. Okay. He put the hard work in. He produced the content and he got a huge amount of people to go and look and engage in that. So the more work you put in, the more results you're going to get out. Okay. Now, lead generation is about nurturing clients. We always tell people this. Nurturing and educating your clients is one of the most fundamental baselines that you need to do for lead generation. Okay. So this diagram is showing you how much work is involved to have conversations with potential clients. Okay. And this is why it's so important to have a CA, a campaign assistant, to actually do this work for you, because you guys don't have time to do this. Okay. All right. So it's very, very important that you do have a full-time person to actually go and do this with you. And that's why we offer it part of our process and what we do for lead generation. Okay. All right. Ian, do you want to chat about this 4 features roadmap? Why it's so important for the people on the call today with regards to the content or context that we're chatting about on for the E12?
Yeah. Okay. Let me just quickly show. Go to my diagram. I'm going to just do this quickly. Can you all see that? Fine. Is it perfect?
Yeah, we're just going to go down.
Yep.
Go down 2 slides.
Yeah. No. I just want to start on this quickly. All right. Just quickly, if you can see that, it's fine. I just want to say something. When people talk about lead gen, we've done the stats on this. Hell of important to understand this. You know, we do all this part here. PJ says with our processes, our methodology, our framework. Okay. The reason why LinkedIn doesn't work is because people don't have a framework or have a process where this actually takes you through, you know, a mechanism to get you to the point. Okay. So what we want to say is, well, I've got it highlighted red. A lot of people fall over when they're trying to, you know, get them committed and close, get them to this point here and sell. All right. Which is what Project 21 is, Project Winner in 21 days is all about. Okay. Got to make sure, guys, that you know how to close. Everyone thinks they know how to close. Unfortunately, we're all technicians, the majority of us. We basically don't know how to close properly. We know how to close referrals, we know how to close friends, all those type of things, but we don't know how to close new opportunities. If you want to grow and expand your business, then you've got to really know how to do this whole triangle. When we have people come on board, they know, oh, we know how to close, we know how to close. No, 90% of people don't know how to close. Hell of important to understand that. We're about growing people's businesses. We're not about, making them spend a lot of money with us and then nothing happens. Really get frustrated with that. So got to be able to convert your prospects. How important. Okay. If you want to grow your business and don't want to be one of those people that don't have a plan, don't know where they're going, and get tired, get run down, and then while I'm doing all this, you've got to be able to do this whole triangle properly around marketing. Okay, hell of important. Going to go into the future roadmap. This is important as well. This is just a bit of accountability stroke. What do you really want out of your business? And when I say your life as well, I really mean it, because your business is so in tune with what you do in your life. So you've got to make sure that you have direction, you have a plan, and you know how to execute. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you a quick question here around this stuff. Okay. If you basically have the four future roadmap, which is best, good, below, and worst, here are your options in what you want to do in your business, which impacts your life. I don't want to sound too dramatic, but it does. We all know it does. I've got clients that are making 10 mil, 50 mil. I've got clients making a mil or 500K. If they're not happy, they're not keen to go to work the next day. They're not keen to serve their customers. Well, I mentioned early on, we need motivated people that join our sessions, because if you're not motivated, you're not going to be able to execute and do things. And we're not going to be motivated to motivate you even. All right. So bear that in mind. A lot of people are tired. Let's make sure we get the right thing and get you on the path to where you want to be. These are the four paths. So we've got, sort of two green paths here. And then we get sort of like a yellow or orangey, and we go into red zone here. Now, what I mean by all these things are really important is this is where you guys are now. Okay. You here on the side of the diagram. This is where you guys are now, today. We're having a discussion about your future and your business, which impacts your life. All right. It really does. So it's all together. It's all intertwined as business owners. All right. So we're here now. Where do you want to go in your journey over the next 2 to 3 years? Okay. Let's say the next 2 to 3 years, we're here. Year 1, year 2, and year 3. Where do you want to go? Right. Let's write this down. You've got this workbook. Hopefully you had time to print it out, or if not, just draw this diagram on a piece of paper. All right. What does best look like for you? Let's say I'm actually doing $500,000 at the moment, right now, 500K. Okay. As a business. And we've got a lot of businesses that, doing a lot bigger than that, obviously, but I'm just saying there's a small amount, 500K. Let's say you're at 500K at the moment. All right. And 12 months, unfortunately, you're roughly going to be 500. You might be 650. It doesn't really matter. We've done all the stats. Your past is your future. Okay. Your past is your future. And that's really important to make sure that you all understand that. Okay. If you don't change your behavior, you're not going to be able to go anywhere and progress. Okay. So all I'm going to say to you guys is, if your best case scenario in 1 year is from 500K is 600K, that might be the best case for you guys. That's great. Okay. In 2 years, the best case could be 1.2. 3 years, it could be, let's say, 4 mil. Now, if you're not doing 20% growth year on year and profit, I always look at profit because it's real. Growth is a vanity metrics sometimes. Then you're doing something wrong. in IT. If you can't get 20% growth every year, then you're doing something wrong. All right. 20% year on year. It needs to be. If you can't do that, you actually shouldn't be running a business. IT, it doesn't matter where you are, in the US, Europe, it doesn't matter if there's a global recession. We're still going to go gangbusters in the sector. We're not hospitality or retail. Okay. Even if you're serving those clients, you're still going to be busy. There is a shortage worldwide, globally, of IT services and software companies that are doing a really good job. Okay. If you can't grow 20% year on year, give up. It's just too hard. All right. That's what I honestly say that to you guys. All right. So if anyone knows me, we're pretty direct and frank. So if you do 600K, that's great. Let's say, for example, you're doing a mil year one right now. Year two, I would say it's probably about 1.8 to be realistic. Okay. Year three on this side, on this scale, you probably want to be doing, 5 to 6 mil. All right. That's really what you want to be doing. Those are the metrics we see with our clients we coach. All right. Now let's not worry about those numbers for the moment. Let's just put your numbers down that you want to have over the next year, 2 years, and 3 years on the column. Once you've done that, we got to work on how you're going to get to these numbers. This is best case, good, below, worse. So that's the best case we're talking about right now. Okay. What's your best case? If I go along and I don't do anything in our business, you're going to be the same as what you're doing now currently. And most companies that I talk to, over the last 2-3 years that have, that keep on coming back to me and want to be part of the program, I look back and go, well, where were you? We look at the notes. Because we have a quick call with them and we realize they haven't progressed. And I'm asking you, why haven't you progressed? Do you have a plan? Do you know how to execute? Do you have a framework? Do you know what's working right now in the industry? And they said they don't really know. They think they know. Okay. So that's what's going to happen if you don't really get a grip on where you want to go in life and get a program, get a coach, get people to tell you what you're doing. Okay. So guess what? 12 months. If you get to good, what are you going to do right now today that makes a change to get to good? Like fundamentally, what are you going to do? All right. Hopefully you're going to take some of these actions you're going to learn today and progress on those. If you want to go from good to best case scenario, what else do you have to do on top of that to get to best? Because as we said, majority of people will go the same or below. All right. So you've got to really, really understand, guys, if something's not going to change now, if you're not going to put good habits into your systems, into your processes to run your business, okay, then you got a good chance to go 12 months the same, below or worse. Because what actually happens here with these people is they actually get tired, run down, get exhausted. It's 90% of business and close down after 3-6 years later, 9 years later, they close down. They realize, you know what? I'm just a one-man shop. I'd rather close this down and go work for my competitors directly. Okay. So if you want a plan to execute, you've got to think about it. But we've got to show you some tips and tricks today to get you through this process. Okay. But there is a 4 futures model. And this is you either got a best case scenario, a good case scenario, an average scenario where you are now, or most likely, unfortunately, a below and worst case where you virtually go out of business and you don't pay yourself actual profit. Right? We've got a belief in our organization it's a profit first model. All business owners or directors of the business who are taking a risk to run or your business need to be paid first. How do you do that? Well, you've got to prioritize things. You've got to put yourself in that position. All right. Make sure that you know what you're doing in your business. All right. Otherwise, you'll end up below and worst case. PJ, any comments on that before we hand over?
Yeah, I'll just say it's the most important thing to ascertain is like we say profit first. It's a very fundamental, and we go through that part of the E12 program as well. Profit first is a very strong showcase on where you are today in your business. And there's certain fundamentals that you need to look at, and how do you run your business? Okay, because a lot of people have misconceptions about profit. So if you do profit first synergy or analysis in your business, you'll actually see where you are today. And then you'll be able to plot yourself exactly where you are on the 4 features. And then you need to ascertain what habits am I going to put in place to be able to get me above that line. Or if I don't get above that line, things are going to start looking really grim. Okay. Thanks, Ian.
Yep.
We
Thanks.
just want to move on to the last slide, then we can have a quick break for everybody.
Okay.
So let me just go back to my screen now. Can you guys see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
So this is the last slide, guys, and we just have a quick break. All right. So part of the program where we tell guys is that, it's a huge transformation and a shift. Okay. We got to look at, we know what our clients' problems are. Okay. If you've worked what that is that we've got to take them from A to B. Okay. So we've got to ascertain what their problems are. We've got to make sure that we actually provide them a promise for a solution for their problem and what are the results. So it's a transformation from telling your clients what problems you have, but if you implement this, this is our promise and this is what results you're going to get. Now, to do that, there's a huge gap. Now, this is the major gap. This is the gap. How do we take clients from A to B? Now, there's a major gap involved. Okay. We take a lot of our clients through this whole process, and when we actually take them on board. Okay. And it's part of the lead generation program. And to a certain extent, it's also part of what Ian does on the one-page strategy. But what we're going to look at later on today is, as I said, we're going to look at these aspects. Okay. In Project Winner. So we're just going to look at these fundamental aspects today more in depth on Project Winner. But this is just to show you what we actually do for all our clients. That's how much is actually involved before we actually do lead generation and before we actually even get to Project Winner. Okay. So we're just going to take a quick 5-minute break, guys. If you just put 5 minutes on your timer, go and grab yourself a drink or a coffee quick, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. And then we're going to hand over to Ian, and Ian's going to talk about the Everest Roadmap, which is a very important topic. And how do you guys get involved on what you guys need to plan? Okay. So put a timer on. Generally, we'll put a timer on to the Zoom call here as a 5-minute timer, but just put it on your phone, guys. It's easy. 5 minutes, and we'll catch you guys in 5 minutes. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Those guys who want to stay on the call and ask questions during the 5 minutes, feel free. We're here. Well, I'll be here. Ian's going to go and grab a coffee. So we'll see you guys in 5 minutes. You still there, Joseph?
Yeah, sorry about that. Fumbling with the keys.
No problem. Yeah, so just trying to say that we'll send out a calendar for you.
All right.
I think we're planning some sessions down in Sydney with Ian, because Ian's been overseas in Philippines to see the team there. So I think he's coming up here 2 weeks' time to Brisbane to see the clients here, and then we're organizing something in Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be good. I think Kim sent you links to have a quick catch up.
Yeah,
so,
no, I've got to organise a catch up. I mean, I'm doing some. I'm doing actually I'm involved in project managing a fit out at the moment, so it's just pulling me left, right, and centre.
In the hospital sector, healthcare?
No, believe it or not, in the financial sector. So,
sure.
So yeah, one of my clients is expanding and taking over a floor in the city. So, it just needs to be set up and all sorts of equipment and just management of the tradies there to make this happen properly. Yeah.
Is Sydney still opening up there? Or people?
It is, yeah. It's getting busier. What doesn't help is these these spikes in COVID and what have you. But what seems to be happening here, I'm not sure if it's happening up at Brisbane, but I think employers are giving their staff the option to work, let's say, 2 days at home and then come into the office for 3 days.
Yeah, I think that's been the standard norm. I mean, even though a lot of people are recruiting at the moment, you know, if you don't have a hybrid environment nowadays, people won't come work for you. That's the norm nowadays. So I know in my wife's business, they've actually just closed down offices now for 3 weeks because people are getting sick again, you know. And in their environment, if people get sick, it's a huge impact on their business. They can't afford people to get sick, so they have to.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. One of the other things is that I suppose that's been good as a consequence of this, if there's any good out of it, is that I'm selling a little bit more product where employers are setting up people at home. So they're not getting them to take the equipment out of the office, but actually getting them another set of equipment, whether it be a laptop or a workstation or what have you, and getting that set up at home. And in that way, there's that ease of people being able to either come into the office or stay at home and continue seamlessly with their work on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Well, like I know here on the Gold Coast is Westpac have just launched like a tech hub for a project that they're going to work on for Westpac, and there was advertising for 220 jobs. Right. 220 jobs on the Gold Coast for tech. Wow. I don't know where they're going to get the staff from. And they're offering good money. So meaning that they're offering very good money is that they're going to be poaching staff from other companies. Because
they'll probably come from Sydney or Victoria.
yeah, exactly. So I think the starting base salary there is for a lot of guys is 160, 170, and for the Gold Coast, that's high. I mean, generally what you're getting paid for those sort of positions is probably about 120, 130. So it is coming to that bigger organizations offering bigger money for guys, and it's still becoming a problem. Recruiting is still becoming a problem to try and find those right people to fill in your space, you know, which is important.
PJ, when we talk again, I want to talk to you about developing a niche product. Because I don't have one. And I think,
it's important to jump on with Ian and myself and have a chat about you know, developing that niche, because you know he's obviously got a lot more clarity and knowledge that I have. Anyway, so it's 5 seconds to go. So thanks, Jana Lee.
Right.
Okay, guys, I hope that you are all sustenance up, drink a lot of water. I think Ian went to go to the jazz here. He went to get his nice green juice. If he's drinking his green juice again.
No, I'm going to be drinking that next break.
Okay,
I'm just drinking some water first, but I'll show you the green juice later on, guys.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Ian. Ian's going to be chatting about the Everest roadmap, and we're going to do some exercises in that. So take away, Ian.
Yep. Sorry, guys. Once again, I don't want to sound like this is a sales pitch, but you know, just take this and use it. All right, take it and use it. All right. The Everest came through a whole lot of series of evolution, this program, and it's been going for a while in its whole entirety. So what I'm going to show you today is the roadmap of where you need to go and tick the things off to be successful in your business. Now, we've taken businesses up to, you know, 20, 30 mil and get sold for 80 mil plus over and over again. Okay. And it's because we've got a roadmap. It's because we've got a process we take people through. It's consistent. It is easy for us to do it because we do it every time. And it helps our clients get from A to B, as PJ was saying early on, the gap, you know, where you want now is A and where you want to go is B. What is that? Well, that's the roadmap. The gap is the roadmap as well. We take people through the roadmap. We know what to do. They know what to do. We help them if they need help. If they don't need help, they execute it themselves. More importantly, they don't need to have a decision process every week. So what actually happens when a lot of our clients join us is, and this is probably you guys, is they're tired, they're decision fatigued. They can't keep on making decisions. They're exhausted. All right. I've been there. I had 120 guys working for me in the IT services business. All right. We had frameworks. We developed a lot of the thoughts on how to actually make decisions. When was the right decision? I educated myself, was around the world doing seminars, attending seminars like this with thought leaders. Unfortunately, there was none in the IT services space. I had to grab a bit from everything else and stick it all together. Okay. So really, at the end of the day, this roadmap is about helping you guys make the right choices at the right time. What we say is, what's your right next thing? Hell of important. This is it here. So Joseph was just talking about, he wants to develop a niche product and take it to market. That all sounds awesome. But is really that his right next thing? Is that the real thing he should be doing? I don't know. We've got to have a discussion with that. Okay, because he might have too many things on and it might not work. Okay, a lot of people come to me and say, oh, I want to do these things. I go, whoa, cool horses. You're doing too much. Let's focus on a few things. Let's get your margins right. Let's make sure you're very profitable first. Okay. So in this roadmap, we've broken it up into two components. Because what we do is we bring the founders through a process where they make sure they're getting shareholders value, making sure that they're getting paid first, making sure that their entity is growing every year on year, it's getting more profitable, but the value of the business is also growing through growth of IP, accelerators, all those things, software products, whatever it is. We make sure that their value of their business is growing all the time. Okay. Now, PJ, just before I really get into it, just give me a time check because I can get carried away on the stuff. So when you want me to pull up stumps?
Generally, we'll jump in. Generally, you jump in and tell Ian enough's enough. We'll need to move on.
Okay, sure. Thanks, generally, because otherwise, we don't leave anything else for everyone else. Right. So a lot of people, when they start the business by themselves, or maybe a co-founder. That's great. Okay. And as they grow their business, they need to hire real senior people because the pressure gets to them. And when they do that, they realize, oh my gosh, this person wants equity at some stage, or he wants some serious components of class shares to join the organization to keep them growing. If that's the situation, what we do in the E12 is we get you guys to focus on the shareholder value, and then we bring the whole team in to the rest. Okay, so this is for teams that are gone from one man that could be up to 30, 50 plus people now. We actually break it up. So some people join us at Everest 12 as the founders and the team, the leadership team. We make that up with them. And then the leadership team gets coaching from us as well as the founders. Okay, so it's important. We take the whole little business through a journey. It's not just about one person only. We get that one person, we build on top of them, stack them up with other staff, and then those staff members come to these sessions and they grow as well. And then use that as an opportunity to say to them, hey, guess what, Jeff, if you come on board, we're going to get you our coach. His name's Ian or PJ, and we're going to get coached together through this process. That's really powerful because that's another advantage to hire people. So we do this all the time. A client of ours just hired a director, a big business, and the first thing they said is, "We got coaching for you. We would like you to meet the coach before we hire you." All right, and he was all excited, and then he got to meet me, and they signed them up next day onwards. So that's what we've got to do, okay, as well for you guys. But in the shareholders' value, you've got to understand if you're a single shareholder, that's great, but some of these things still apply to you. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through this quickly as we go. The first thing is design your life. We start off the bottom here, guys. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3 is where we're at the top. You really smashing it as a business, and you're probably going to exit and make a whole lot of money. Okay, That's not everyone's at that situation. It takes years to go from 1, 2, and 3. We've got to work that on. It depends on how much effort you want to put into it. Depends on where you are on the services. Some services are flying off the shelf. Some services aren't. Okay, it depends on a whole lot of stuff. So you want to design your life. There's a little session we take you guys through at some stage, and you want to make sure you know what you want out of your life. You're only living once, as far as I'm aware of. And a lot of people, go on holiday. Like I'm working with them, and they're under the pump, and I can see it, and I say, "Oh, cool down a bit. You're going to overheat. You're going to overheat." No, I'll be fine. Throw the pressure on. Throw the pressure on. Then they go on a 3-week holiday in December or July, and then they come back, and oh my gosh, the world's changed. It's amazing. Okay, and that's because they haven't designed their life correctly. They haven't designed it for a 3 to 5 year journey. They designed it for the next week. They're living week by week. So you've got to design your life. What do you want out of life? What do you really want? A lot of people think they know what they want, but when they go on holiday, they have time to think about it. If you don't really have that sorted out, a lot of the stuff that you're going to go through in this journey is going to be quite difficult and tiring. Okay. The next thing, as I say, is get a basic shareholders agreement sorted out. Okay. Really do that. Protects you from legal things. It protects you from a whole lot of stuff. All right. Get a basic one. Then you want to work about is how to actually have a career framework for the leaders in the business. Where do they fit in? How that works? How are you actually going to educate them? Right? This is going from one man right through. All right. And then you want to have, at some stage, a little bit higher than that, you want to have, we call them executive employment agreements, real agreements. So if you ever sell your business at some stage, you are protected, or you actually demerge or whatever it is, then we do that. I've got clients at the moment are either buying, selling, or merging. Simple. We've got a plan for each one of those. Okay, so that's important. What we do on the map is, on this roadmap, is we look at it and say, what's the right next thing? And then we say, okay, well, look, you can't do everything. We're just going to do one thing, that we think is the highest. So you might tick off 2, 3 things here. We sit back and say, no, you can't do all 3 or 4. Depends how big your company is, but we're only doing 1. What is the right next thing we're going to do in the next 6 weeks? And we're going to keep you accountable through our cycles, okay, which PJ runs. All right, really powerful stuff. So the next thing is, are you doing things like a quarter business review? If you're 1.5 mil, 2 mil over, you should be starting doing a review every quarter. We take you through that process, how to do it, how to make sure it works. Then we talk about the year strategy sessions. Once again, if you've got 1.5, 2 mil turnover, you should be having yearly strategy sessions. Even if you're by yourself or you've got 3 or 4 staff, take them and have a session together. We'll take you guys, we'll show you how to do it properly, how to execute. Some of our bigger clients actually do it with them. I enjoy it. It's freaking brilliant. It's so nice when you're working with clients and you're taking them on the journey. That's where I actually get my kicks from. I don't need to work. The reason why I'm doing this is because I've worked out in my design your life component myself, is work for me is my hobby. It's my number 1 hobby. Okay. I've done enough already. I'm in a really grateful position. And when I get my real kicks is when I'm doing these certain things like the yearly strategy, the company updates, all those type of things, the meetings. I really enjoy some of the stuff that we actually see the progression with our clients. It gives me a great satisfaction. All right. So some of these things you need to keep on doing, and you need to really work on, at the end, what do you really want to do with this business? Trade, sell, IPO, trade sales for you to sell. Do you have a company runs without you there? Maybe one day a week, you just tap in, see what's happening. You have a general manager. Example, PJ is my general manager. He looks after all my stuff. Okay. Payroll with the big team that we have, all that stuff. He looks after the whole thing. All right. He's our GM. And he's number 1. He's our coach as well, but GM's number 2 role. What do you want to do around, raising capital? Do you need to raise capital? Are you going to create a software product at some stage? okay, or a packaged offering for services, which we're really powerful on, and we push our clients to do that quite a bit. Okay, there's certain things you need to work out. You might get divorced. You might have to sell part of the business. You might need to buy. This is what's happening with a lot of my clients. Clients are getting divorced right now. We're getting clients that are basically buying other partners out at the moment. That's happening, guys. We've got a large set of clients we're talking to every week. They are, as we call, about having a journey of life. This is what happens. It's not straightforward. So you've got to be having all these things here at some stage over the next 2 to 3 years. That's because the growth we take our clients through, this is what we take them through. They need to make sure these things are right. We've got accelerators, templates, all that stuff. So we take you through this really quickly. The next thing is we move on to the actual business side of things. So that wasn't really about the shareholders. People don't really look at that. So if you're a one-man band, you've got to separate those 3 hats. It's 3 hats. Okay, it's the shareholder hat. And in this situation, if you're one-man band, that hat's really, you should put that hat on with the fact that it's your family, because it's your family that you're losing out to. It's your family asset you're building. And if you're not involved 110% in the right thing, you're missing out because you're working like a maniac and your family's missing out. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Really, really bear that in mind. Shareholders' value is, even for one-man person, you can take it seriously, understand it, and put some time into it. Now, we do this like the Toyota way. It's a real famous book on manufacturing. The Japanese, they start from right to left. Okay, in this situation, we start from right to left. Okay, so if you break this down into 2 components, this is really the lead gen and sales. All right, this is the delivery and the scaling routine. So marketing and sales, if you want to call it in whatever world. And there's 2 things there. There are 2 separate components. Marketing is different from sales. Please. You know, I love arguing this point with people. But if you don't separate them, you don't really understand the distinction between them properly. You're actually going to get yourselves caught up all the time. Okay. And then delivery, which you guys are normally quite good at, because you services, most of my clients come to me, they're technicians. I was a technician, a delivery guy. I could do delivery all day long. Could I run a business? No, I had to learn the hard way. Okay. All right. So we start off in things like career framework, and we have a little framework, and all your staff, it's hot at the moment. It's so hard to hire good quality staff members. So when you do hire them, you got to have a path for them for their careers to progress. And that's a career framework. Really important. We help people create a learning portal. We've got a solution that we bring in for our clients called IMA. If you are one of our clients and you don't have IMA, please get onto it ASAP.
Can I just jump in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw a fun fact yesterday is that they said the number 1 issue about people leaving companies in IT space is career framework. There's no path for them to grow in businesses. That's why they leave businesses.
100%. 100%. Like, why would you stay at a company, PJ, when another company is potentially offering you a path to actually grow as an individual? In fact, it's very selfish as a business owner, very limited. So if you've got 1 or 2 staff members, or if you've got 100, make sure you have a proper framework and structure around it to make sure that they get something out of it. All right. People only stay and work and be invested in your business if you basically show them the reciprocal end, that you invest in their careers. If you're not investing in their careers, then they're not going to stay around. And on top of that, you've got to show them a path. You can only give lip service so much to your staff, and then it falls apart. All right. So really good point you brought up there, PJ. Really good point. Thanks for the intro. All right. Now, the next thing is, how do you offload basic tasks? All right. On this framework. So if you've got a career framework ready, and it might not be 100%, doesn't matter. Tick it. So what I said to our clients, if you've got something, if you're going to hire a lot of staff, if that's your model, great. If you don't have a framework, get onto it. If you do have a framework and it's 60% and above, maybe tick that off for the moment. Always come back and review it later. All right, so let's say you tick that off. Fantastic. Let's say you got a bit of a learning portal. Internally, you got, some really good videos of how to do this, how to do that, training that you guys do internally. That's great to have a portal, okay? But really, this is another sticking point, which I really get frustrated with our clients. It's how to offload basic tasks to your team. Because you've got to be, as a business owner, okay, or a leadership role, you've got to be designing your business. You've got to be in your business to create wealth. You've got to be in your business to understand the strategy and where you're going next to execute on it. If you're a technician, that's cool, but you've got to change you to become, a person who knows how to design and grow the business for what they want to get what they want out of it. If you can't get that mindset changed, you'll be a technician, stayed on site and you just deliver every day of the week. And you'll just be that guy, which is cool. It's what you want, but don't get upset. All right. If you do that, that's just how it is, So you got to offload tasks to your team. And at some stage, we actually help people get a VA, a virtual assistant, to actually help some of these tasks as well, to offload them for you as well. And you can see the operators in our clients. So I speak to 20 clients at least on a weekly basis. Okay, sometimes every second month or month, whatever, sometimes every week, I speak to clients different ones. And I know that they're going places. I can have a 15, 20-minute chat and go, bang, these guys are going to go places. If I had to put money and bet on them, they're going to do well. And it's because the mindset's different. Like, they've done this job for a long time, the technology stuff, they know it well, but they're really battling at the mindset shift. This is another reason why the roadmap's here, to show people, hey, this is the proof. This is what we take clients through all the time. So you've got to be able to offload the basic tasks. If you want to be a technician forever, that's great, but you can't grow your business. Very difficult. I've seen a couple of times where you can, but out of 100, maybe one. Okay, you've got to become a different beast. Move on to the next part. You've got to become a hero in a certain service, and we call it productizing that. Okay, you've got to be able to design your hero service. What are you famous for, guys? Like, I've got guys that talk to me all the time. Hey, I want to do these things. That's 100 things, and you're one-man show. Stop that. Stop that now. If you're one of those people, stop it, please. You can't do everything. Get a fellow subcontractor to do one or two things. Becomes famous for something. All right. These MSP guys, they're battling with that all the time. They're going down the tube every time because they're trying to do too much. All right. Really, if you're not famous for something, you're never going to be able to jack your prices up. You're never going to have freedom. You're never going to have right margins. All right. If you're not famous for something, you got a problem. So we help you become famous for something. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Sort of like the framework that PJ showed you here early on. A lot of these things they're trying to work out what are the problems you're solving all the time. What are the solutions? PJ takes you part of this through just for the lead gen. So when you're marketing and you're messaging people and you're talking to them on the phone, you have a process. You have answers to the questions that they don't even know they have. That's when you know you're really good. When you know your client better than they know themselves. That's when you start to make money. But you can only do that if you know you're solving the 4 or 5 problems that industry or that area has. If you get to that good, you've got a hero service product. You're becoming a legend. You're going to make some money. You're at the casino in Vegas and you're winning every time, which, as you know, never happens. That's why I don't gamble. All right. So then you just work about how to deliver that as a great service. Like, a lot of people come to me and go, Ian, we've got a great business. We're doing really well. But guess what? Guess what, guys? We're just doing too much. And then I'd sit back and I listen to them for 2 or 3 weeks on various calls. I do a 5-stage, onboarding process. And after that, I go, okay, we've got to stop this, got to stop this, got to stop this. And go, why? And I give them examples. Okay, all right. All right, okay, we're going to stop that. We're going to stop that. Yeah, agree. Let's just do that for the next 6 months. They come back to me, so excited after 2-3 weeks so we can see the process happening. Let me give you an example. If you're trying to service 7 or 8 different service lines or problems, completely different things you're trying to solve, the energy that your business goes through to consume the new updates, new information, it's really difficult. Your quality of service drops. The repeatability drops because there's too many things across, right? If you don't have that Hera service product, what's going to happen is your service is going to drop. You're not going to get new work from that client or existing work. They might say, oh, you're doing a great job, but you're not. Okay, you know that. I don't have to tell you guys. If you're not doing the same thing over and over again and you're becoming famous for it, you've got to stop it and you've got to go that. But the problem with that is it's the cost and net thing, which is why we have lead gen. So a lot of people go, oh yeah, I'm going to cast net. I'm going fishing. I'm going to cast net. Unfortunately, when you cast that net off the boat, those gaps become so big, every fish swims right through it. We want to go out with a GPS finder, a bait, a hook, and we know what type of fish we're going to hook on. That's how close and focused we need to be to the problem we're solving with our customers. All right. And that's a rock star service. We want to give you guys the opportunity to deliver rock star service with your clients. And on top of that, you review your rates right after that, and you can put your rates up. Because you know what? You are giving guaranteed outcomes to your customers, or virtually guaranteed. I know it's very hard to give guaranteed in IT, but we can say to them, look, we'll be able to deliver this program of work or project within the next amount of days or whatever it is. We'll guarantee, we could fix price it even, because we do it all the time. Clients want fixed price. IT guys don't. It's simple. How often have you guys ever fixed price a piece of work and say, look, it's going to cost you 10 grand or $1 million? Hardly ever. In my previous business, guys, we fixed price. At the end, we're fixed pricing everything. And the reason why we're fixed pricing is because we're famous for, a whole lot of stuff. We did analytics. We knew exactly where the buttons we needed to push with the client, the problems we could solve, and we could solve it really well. And that's what fixed price did. If you aren't skilled and you're not honed in, you'll just do, I'll give you a quote. Oh, you ran over a couple of days here, a couple of days. It's going to expend more. That's just bullshit. That means you're just not good enough at your job. You've got to stop that, because that's going to hurt your margins. That's going to hurt your journey in your business. All right. Any questions so far while I have a breather on that, guys? How much time have I got left, Jan Lee?
You got probably 15 minutes in.
All right, 15 minutes. Is this resonating with anyone at the moment? Any questions? All right. I know people are jumping on and off because we're busy solving people's work issues as well. There's always in the chat. If you look in the chat, there's grab me on the Facebook account, follow me, and Facebook group as well, YouTube, a whole lot of stuff there that they just put in there as well. Okay. Any questions? I just want to ask any questions at the moment. Anyone got questions? I can chat to them if they're too shy, or jump on and ask anything about the roadmap at the moment. All right, good. I'm going to carry on then. Carry on. All right. So in here, that gives you an idea around that. In here, what we want, next sort of couple of areas we want to talk about is sales meetings and CRM. Okay. Now, if you don't have a CRM and you're using a spreadsheet, just go get a CRM. Our clients get, when our clients join us, they have a whole lot of CRMs. They have HubSpot, which is good for a certain degree, and then it gets really expensive. But what we really push our clients to do is do the IMA, which is our solution. It's white labeled. It's a marketing automation solution. You can actually get LinkedIn leads straight into that environment. You can actually market on that environment. You can actually do a whole lot of stuff. Email marketing, webinars, everything that we run today, like you guys would have received, is through the IMA solution. Hell of a powerful thing. Clients are a bit hesitant to get onto it. Now our clients on it love it. Landing pages, there's a whole lot of stuff we do. Tons of stuff. Our weekly client machine, we teach our clients go through that. There's a whole lot of stuff. A lot of people don't treat their database with any respect or haven't started building a database of potential customers. So if you have a database of people, and this is your database here, guys, represented on whatever it is, a CRM, I'm talking about sales contacts or sales potential people you can speak to. You've got to make sure in your journey from A to B that you are spending time and money on looking after and nurturing that database. It's the most powerful thing you can actually utilize. I didn't know this really that well when I had 120 people working for me. All right. I wish I did. I now know how to fast forward businesses that are stuck. Businesses that are one-man band are here. Businesses that grow to, 25 to 150 consultants are over here. They understand the value of the business. All right. Very, very, very important to put time, effort into that CRM. Okay. That's why I was saying you got to design, you got to have a strategy around the business. It's really important. The other thing is, if you're not having sales meetings and there's two of you in your business, that's great. Have a sales meeting once a week for 45 minutes. Keep each other accountable. We run this process through our clients. We keep them accountable. Okay. We make sure that we are actually helping them in their sales process with the sales collateral, understanding the positioning around that, but also having internal sales meetings. If you're not having an internal sales meeting and there's two of you, then, get a coach to make sure he keeps you accountable. All right. How important. We talk about territory plans. Like once you know who you want to target, that's awesome. Right. A lot of people think they know who they want to target, but we need to understand who we're going to target, why, the problems we're solving, the solutions we're going to provide, all these things all come around that. Once you've worked that out, we have a little plan. We have tier 1 clients, 2 and 3 and 4. We work out how you're going to contact them and what time you're going to spend time, how much time you're going to spend with them and the value of them. The biggest thing our clients do when they come to us is say, I'll do an analysis on the client environment of the last 3-4 years with them, and they realize they're spending too much time on the wrong clients. It's another tip there, guys. Make sure you spend the right time on the client that's paying you the right money. And if you don't have the right clients, get rid of them once you get the lead gen working. Get the lead gen working first, then over time, just get rid of those clients. Those hassle clients, those clients that don't love what you're doing, get rid of them. So about 10, maybe % of clients are probably not the right client for you. I don't know. Think about this. Really think about it. Make sure you got the right client. I don't want to have a law firm come talking to us. We're about RT services and sometimes software companies are, but it's all about RT services. That's our perfect future customer. We want to serve you guys every day in and out. We've got 4 to 5 training sessions a week. How do we do that? It's simple. We're the best in this market. We're the best helping our customers out. That's how you've got to think about your customers. You've got to make sure you know how to serve them. Okay. Once you've got that territory plan sorted out, you get onto the brainstorming and strategy sessions. We're going to talk about that today with Project Winner. Really important to understand. You know how to get a brainstorm session with your customer. See if they're a right fit. See if they want to work with you guys. And then you have a strategy session for 45 minutes. So this is about a 10 to 15 minute call. That's a 45-minute call. But we have a strategy, a process in place to help you go through these things. So it's just, copy and paste. We update a few things and off we go. All right. We do that cycle, a 21-day sprint cycle, Project Winner, 3 times a year. If you do that 3 times a year, don't have to worry about sales the rest of the year. Get back to delivery. We'll get on holiday. Okay. All right. Okay. This is something that we do with the lead gen LinkedIn with the CA. That's when you get to the next level. 5 minutes, which is what PJ covers off there. Then we talk about meeting rhythms internally. And then we talk about the one-page strategy. We're going to go through the one-page strategy today in a bit of in detail. It's what you want to do with your little business. Where do you want to go with it? Okay. Now, put some effort into that. If you can't make this whole session, we're going to send you the replay. Get to the replay, watch the replay. Or if we cover something and going too fast, just watch the replay. Really important. So that's what we do. We go through this process with our customers we coach, our clients. And what we do is we actually have a process where we uplift people. We take them from A all the way to B. So that's B, that's A. We actually show them what to do, what needs to happen to get to B. Okay. The other thing you got to realize is some of these things you might do quick, start off first. So it doesn't have to always go from bottom right to left. That's normally the way it goes. Sometimes you guys, we tweak things for you guys. Okay. Really, really important. You see, we do profit first, talk about leadership teams. We talk about 6-week game plan. Get you guys focused to execute on some of these internal projects. When clients come to me, there might be a 10-man, 15-man company. They might have like 42 initiatives on their spreadsheet. You're like, wow, you can't do any of that. You guys won't even execute that stuff. You're going to kill yourselves if you are. What are the 1 or 2 projects you're going to execute on? That's what I want to know. That's it. 1 or 2 projects. Make sure you do that in 6 weeks. Make sure you do it well enough. And then we can focus on the next item. They have all these crazy ideas. I said, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Just do these 3-4 things. We've got the roadmap here that takes you from A to B. Okay. All right. So guys who come join us are 0 to 500K are now up to here, 20 mil plus, are going because they're doing the right things. All right. We want to get you guys as fast as we can over a period of 3 years. The program we have is like a 3-month commitment up front on the E12, and you then commit for after 3 months. You just tell us if you want to jump off or not. We never had one person jump off yet. And then basically you carry on for the next 12 months, and then it automatically renews. Because what we want to do is we invest time to get you guys from 1 to 3. I have guys that when I have a conversation, I take them through this roadmap before they join and all that stuff sometimes. And I look at the notes, and then they come back to me, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. Come back to me, yeah, they don't want to listen, don't want to listen. And then 2-3 years later, they join. I go, man, you've wasted 3 years. And after working with them for 3 or 4 months, you wasted 3 years. And the guy comes back to us and says, you know what, Ian, you're so right. We wasted 3 years. We should have joined you earlier. We're trying to figure this out ourselves. We're so smart, aren't we? Hey, I'm not smart. I've just been doing this over and over again. I see what's happening. I'm not smarter than you guys. I've been this. Yes, I had a $20+ million business. I sold that to a big global firm. Yeah, that's awesome. I went on to do a few more things. That's great. I've become really smart because I'm coaching you guys every day of the week. I know what's working. I know what isn't working. That's my genius. I'm not smarter than anyone else. I just see what's happening. I know the trends. I built the roadmap. I take people through it. We get the results. All right. So just bear that in mind. We got a team and a community behind us that actually gets us to the B in your journey. All right. I think it's probably nearly up. You said 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of stuff to carry on the right next thing. But believe me when I say this, guys, take this. You got to get given it. Run through it. Try and do it yourself. But there's a whole lot of stuff behind it. It's up to you what you want to do out of it. Okay. I'll let you jump on.
Any questions, guys? Any questions on that? Does anybody want to ask any questions before we jump onto the next little bit of it? No questions? You just stop sharing your screen, yeah?
Okay, well, you just take over. You can stop it, I think. Yeah. That's the stop. There we go.
Okay. Okay, guys, so what we want to talk about now.
PJ, sorry, if they have questions, they can just book a call.
Yeah, well, they can ask in the chat or unmute themselves and go and ask a question. This is what live workshops is all about, to ask questions, test people. Okay. So what I want to do, just go here. Sorry, guys, is we want to talk about quickly about Project Winner. Okay, what Ian has just talked about just now. And you know, what is Project Winner all about? So what we want to do, guys, is quickly do, this is going to be an exercise that we're all going to do together. Okay. Now, as Ian just chatted about now on when he went through the roadmap, is there's three things you need to know about Project Winner and how it's broken down and how it's going to help you. Okay. Like he mentioned, your database. Okay. Is vitally important. Okay. If you have a huge database with contact numbers in your database, okay, and you want to go and sell your business, that is an asset that any person that wants to buy your company is going to spend a lot of money on. Okay. Because they can see the future and they can see that how many people you're nurturing or you've got on your database that you could potentially go and market to. Okay. So that's your client database. That's why part of E12 and lead generation is important, to grow that database and nurture that database and have that database on. Okay. It's vitally important, and it's very important for the success of your business, is to have a huge database. Okay. Another very important thing that we tell people, okay, selling and on Project Winner, okay, is help. Okay. That's what we're trying to do. We don't want to sell, guys. We want to help people in industry on this Project Winner. Okay. And that's why we want to reach out to people. We want to help them, we want to educate them, and we want to nurture them. We don't want to sell to people. Okay. Now, another big thing to say is ask. Now, when I say ask, this is an ask question. And what I mean by that is, in your specific industry, you got to find out what is a question that you can ask your potential clients or a potential clients, a question that they have to say yes to. And I'm going to tell you why that's important just now. Okay. So find out, when you're going to go through this, is what is your ask question? Like, for instance, an example is, hey, do you drink water? Now, 99.9% of the time, people are going to say yes. That's the type of question we need to know. What is the question you can ask your target audience that's going to represent a yes scenario back to you? Okay. So what I want you guys to do is, on a piece of paper, we're going to do a quick activity. Now, why is important to this activity for Project Winner is that we want to break down goals. So we want to know what you guys want to achieve in the 6 months or 12 months. What is that huge goal, and how we need to break this down into an activity to make sure it's a bite-sized chunks and we can actually achieve it. Because if we see a big goal in front of us, the first thing that the human nature is going to say to us is that, hey, that's impossible. I can't do that. Okay. If we break those goals down into small bite-sized pieces, into activities, the impossible is going to become possible. It's just, as Ian's been saying, it's a change of mindset on how you go about it. Okay. So I just want to go through this quick analogy. And if you guys got a piece of paper or if you got the workbook, is that I just want to run through this with you guys quickly. And just to give you an example of how do we go and break down goals down into activities. Okay. So for instance, this scenario, we've got a bank. Now the bank realizes that they have to then go and get loans and push their quarter target, which they're currently doing at 5 million. Okay. They want to go and increase their quarterly loan book to 15 million per quarter. Okay. How do they achieve this? Because the sales agents, there's 3 of them, they're going to say to, hey, we're doing 5 million at the moment. How the hell are we going to get 15 million a quarter? It's impossible. We can't do that. Okay. So what we've got to do is change the mindset. We've got to say to people, right, okay, if 15 million per quarter is the new goal, okay, how are we going to break down this into activities? Okay, so what we're going to look to this analogy is say there's 3 of them. So each of you are going to have to do 5 million. Okay. Right. So we're taking the 15 million, we split it out to the 3 of the sales guys. And we said to them, right, now we have to look deep further, but they're still saying, hey, that's impossible. All 3 of us are currently still doing 5 million. Now we have to do 15. Now you're asking us individually to do 5 million. That's still impossible. Okay. What you got to go and do then is you say, right. And in this example, what people said is, okay, what was your average sales that you guys did per month? Okay, they go back and they look in the sales and they actually have a look and they say the average sales that they did per month was 1.65 million. That was average sales. Okay. So that was proof in the sales processes on how much the average sales were going to be doing. So what they do then, they break down. So right, we have to then go and make 1 sale per month. Okay. So each salesperson has to do 1 sale per month because that's the average. You guys agree with that? Yes, okay, they agree with that. Okay. Then they start diving a bit further and they say to you guys, okay, what is required to go and make that 1 sale a month? What actions and processes do we have to do in order to go and actually get that 1 sale per month? And what it turns out to be, they had to do 4 offers. So they had to produce 4 offers to clients in order to hit that 1 sale. Okay. Now, when they drill further down, they're going to say, in order to do the 4 offers, what sequences or other work do you have to do in order to do the 4 offers? And they said, right, collectively between us, okay, we have to do 16 applications. Okay. So they had to do 16 applications to do 4 offers to get 1 sale per month. Okay. They said, now, how do you go about getting 16 applications done? And the team said, okay, how we break this down is in our world is that we looked at, we had to do a phone call. And out of those phone calls, we could meet people for coffee or a meeting. Okay. The next question is obviously, how many phone calls do you guys have to do, okay, for those 16 applications? And they said 7 on average. And they said, out of those 7 calls, how many coffees did you guys manage or meetings did you manage to get out of those? They said 2. I said, great. How long does it take you guys to have the 7 calls and to probably have 2 coffee booking meetings with potential clients? And they came back 45 to 60 minutes to an hour. Okay. That's great. What was the best time that you guys found out that you normally go and do your phone calls and have these meetings with people? Oh, it was probably 9:30 in the morning, okay, to 10:30 a.m. Okay. So what they did is, and they managed to achieve is that they managed now to go and actually say that they've broken down the goal, which was 15 million per quarter, down into bite-sized, actionable tasks that they can go and do, into how many calls they needed to do and how many coffees they needed to do in a specific day between a specific time. Now, that's what an example is that you guys need to look in your business to go and actually see, okay, what is my goal? How do I break this down into the team, if you have got a team, that I need to do these certain processes, that it comes down to an easy application that you guys can do, that between this time and this time, if I do project winner, if I get hold of these people between this time and this time, and I do these actions every single day and get into the habit of doing it, okay, I will reach my ultimate goal. Okay. So it's turning the impossible into possible. And it's going down into certain aspects of what we need to look as project winner. Okay. So it's breaking down. We do this with clients in the E12, okay, is that we get clients to actually do this project winner, which is a 21-day sprint, okay, and we're getting these guys. We're currently running one at the moment for some of our staff in the E12, and we're busy planning out for the 21-day, okay. So what we got to do is we've got to say, and it doesn't have to be 20 guys. This is just an example, is you got to be comfortable is how many people can you dial per day, and write down how many chats can you guys and how many brainstorms can you guys book, okay? Because ultimately what we want to get to is analogy that we will have a spreadsheet like this, okay? And this is what we designed for our clients. It's just a simple tracker on all what we do for our clients that are going to go on this 21-day sprint sheet. Is we keep track. And we say, right, guys, day 1 to 21, put in your numbers. And that's what Ian reverts to, is that we're going to put you guys into squads, those guys that are in part of our E12 program. And we say, you guys are accountable for each other because you're in that specific squad, and you're going to be reporting on your numbers. And when they have a check-in with me on their 21-day sprint, okay, during the week, the numbers speak for themselves, guys. And this is why it's so important for project winner to actually break down your huge project down into bite-sized, chunkable, and achievable actions that you guys can take in your company. Okay. And the most important of it is that everybody has to be accountable for putting in the numbers. And that's why we do squads. And squads are very powerful because people have each other to be accountable for. Okay. So we're going to talk about other aspects in Project Winner just now. But these are the fundamentals that we're getting our clients to do in Project Winner, is to have the goal, put it down into activities, and actually have conversations with people. And we're going to go through scripts on how you do that. I know Joseph mentioned in the break that he's actually designing this and doing it, but we're actually going to show you now in the next break, after the next break, on how we actually tackle this. Okay, because we have to go into a sequence and actually have to build our habits into doing this. Okay, so before we go into a quick break, are there any questions on that specific sort of analogy or what Project Winner is about, or what we're trying to achieve?
I just want to say something while you guys are thinking. The important thing about Project Winner is the activity that we do. Okay, we got great results in the past when our clients do the squad Project Winner work together. They actually get real good meetings, they get some momentum, and they get the habits forming. And with those good habits that we get forming, they get results. Okay, so if you've got a lot of leads out there, a lot of old clients, a lot of all those things, Project Winner will actually help shake that tree and get some activity, some momentum happening for your business. Because it all starts with sales, unfortunately. You don't have a business if you don't have a good, repeatable sales machine happening. So one of the levers we pull is what we call, Project Winner, is to make sure we get you into good habits. PJ keeps you accountable, and we have fun doing it, believe it or not. In fact, this cycle around, PJ and I are also going to be involved in Project Winner. Okay. And we're also going to get on the phone and do some dials and make sure things are working as well. Okay. All right, PJ, I'll hand over to you. Any questions?
We have here
All right.
Nicholas. He said
Yes.
that he's late, but he will watch the replay.
Okay. No
Brilliant.
problem.
That's great. That's good. And
Okay, guys,
the
we're gonna
replay
jump-
will go out. So PJ, the replay will go out next day or two, and then just watch the replay if you can. Yeah, sorry, PJ, go for it.
Yeah, so we're going to jump on a 10-minute break, guys, just to go and stretch our legs a bit, rest our eyes, get our mojo back, because people can only spend X amount of time concentrating. So we'll put a timer up on there, guys, for 10 minutes, and we'll be back. And after that, we'll carry on with Project Winner and go through a couple of things before Ian wraps it up with the Everest one-page strategy. Okay, catch you guys just now. Thanks very much. Right. I hope you're all refreshed, ready to go again.
BJ,
Yeah. Oh, you got your
my green juice.
green juice. For those of you who don't know Ian, he's drinks this Monster green juice that keeps him energized. And I know he's been having a bit of a party over there in Philippines with all the staff, and they've been having client functions and getting to know everyone and sessions, and I know he's been eating good food. So I think he needs to drink more green juice. Anyway, okay, so guys, we're going to turn back onto Project Winner. Okay, and the next part of Project Winner, which is what we want to talk about, is turning outbound persuasions from cold into warm, and how do we actually do this? It's something that is very important. Is when we're having conversations with people, like I said before, is we're not selling to people. Okay, we've got to try and nurture and educate our clients. Okay, and the next part of the process that we're going to look at is how do we actually try and do this, and how do we actually turn a potential, if you guys do have to make cold calls, on how do you turn those cold calls or people that relatively don't really know you into warm calls and having warm conversations, and what's achievable. Okay, so what is key? I mean, what is key to having conversations and having phone calls with people? Okay, it's the language that we speak. Now, obviously, every person that's on the call today is maybe in a different sector within IT, but what we're trying to ascertain is that when you have a conversation with people, your current clients or past clients, how do we chat to people? How do we ask questions? How do we actually go and find out information? It's the language that we speak between the clients that you currently have, and in different organizations or different sectors, the language that you speak might be a bit different. And the messages that we talk about on LinkedIn is a slightly bit different. There's a bit of tweaking. So language is key. Okay, so I just want to quickly do this process with you guys. If you could type into the chat. Now, this only works if people actually give feedback. So it's important for you guys to just put in the chat. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question with regards to the words that you see on the screen. Okay, so think of these words and consider the meaning associated to them. So the first one I want to look at is Jaguar. So if I say Jaguar, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Just if you guys can put it in the chat channel. Jaguar. If I tell you Jaguar, what's the first thing that comes to mind about Jaguar? Okay, and it's important because I need interaction with people, please. So Joseph says car. Car. Okay, car. Okay. Everyone seems to know Jaguar as a car. But a Jaguar could also be a cat, a wild cat, an animal. Okay, so there we go. Roy, South American large cat. That's what I was asked. So it's got two meanings. Jaguar's got a meaning of cat, large cat in South America, or a car. Okay, if we move on to Coke. If I tell you Coke, what's the first thing that comes to mind of Coke? A drug. There we go, Joseph. Cocaine, short for Coke, cocaine. There we go. Coca-Cola, soda. That's it. Coal. That's right. Coke's part of coal. Right, Roy? So we got soda, coal, drugs. Okay. Falcon. The word falcon. A bird. Bird of prey. Okay. For those of you who are probably in Australia, what is a falcon? Classic Aussie car. There we go. Right. So we got large bird of prey. We've got a car. Okay. Mustang. Mustang Sally. Name of a song. Car, horse, car. Okay. Right. When I put those words up, what did you guys look at in the chat? Okay. In the chat, people came up with different answers. Okay, so what is that telling you? Can anybody answer that question? What is that telling you? And why is this important and relevant to language? Anybody? Can anybody unmute themselves and just tell me? Why it's
Different
important?
perspective of the words.
Correct. That's 100% correct. Okay. So again, Roy says people's interpret words differently. Okay. So that's what we're trying to say about language is when we talk about language, it's we have to make sure that people respond the way that you want them to respond. Okay. So we mustn't give them an opportunity to give meaning other than what you want them to respond with. Does that make sense? Okay. So that comes across with your messaging. Your messaging has to be easy to interpret, and your package you're offering has to be easy to sell to them. And they have to understand it. They can't get mixed perceptions about things. It has to be very specific so they understand what you're saying to them. That's the point that we're trying to say about language, and why it's very important when you're having conversations with people is that you have a script or some sort of a process that you go through when you're asking people certain aspects of their business to see in either a brainstorm or a strategy session, that you've got to make people respond that you want them to respond, and don't give them opportunity to move in a different perspective. Does that all make sense to you guys? Pretty simple. Okay. So that's why it's important that what we're going to go through is we've actually got to get this right. Okay. So the next question I'm going to ask you guys is, what do you think is the most important word in everybody's or people's vocabulary? Why is it important? Does anybody know what's the most important word in people's vocabulary? Roy says me. Me meaning what? What's me? Me as me is the most important word. It's close. It's close. It's not the specific. As an R. Okay. What is as an R? Think of what your name. Okay. So you're going down the right path. Okay. Yes, Roy, you were close. So a person's name is the most important vocabulary in anybody's when you're having a conversation with people on the phone or to somebody. Why do you think that is so important, guys? Anybody? Why do you think somebody's name, when you're having a conversation with somebody, is very important? Builds connection, Nicholas. Personal connection. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you a bit of stats on why the person's name is very important. Make somebody feel heard, acknowledged, correct? Okay, important. So when you're addressing somebody and you call out their name, it's as if you're speaking directly to them. Okay. But there's psychology, there's more things to when you're telling people about their name. Okay. I'll tell you now, if you go and say somebody's name, okay, the active listening. Okay, well, let me ask you this question before I tell you. Type in the chat. Are you a visual person or are you an audible person? Are you visual or you're audible? Can you take things in and remember either visually, or if you hear something, you can remember it by audio? Vision, visual. Okay. Joseph, Roy, Ken, Kevin. Are you guys visual or audible listening? Okay. For those of you who said visual, that's correct. Okay. When you're on the phone, people's listening, okay, is only 7%. So when you're chatting to them on the phone, they're only taking in 7% of what you're saying. So 93% of what you're saying is irrelevant. Okay. So that's why people's perceptions, when they see something visually, they'll be able to actually remember what they see. Okay. So we want to flip that. We want to say when the guy's on the phone, we want to flip the 7% to 93%. So that's why their name is very important. Now, studies have shown, okay, if you're able to say the name, okay, it flips from 7% to 93%. Now, when you say, Joseph, what are you doing tomorrow? Is in the 9 to 15 words thereafter his name, he will remember what you've told him to do or asked a question. Okay. So when you're going to go and ask people, okay, a very important question, okay, always use their name. Okay. So in this scenario, it's very important to start with their name, okay, conversation. And when you're going to ask them a very, very specific question, say, hey, Joseph, because then you get their attention and then they'll be able to remember the question thereafter. Okay. So it's highly important that when you're going to say something very important is to use their name. Okay. So in this analogy, okay, this is where your ask question is. When I asked you guys earlier on in your project winner. Why is it important to ask a yes question? Why do you guys think it's important for a yes question? Can anybody tell me if somebody's trying to sell you something and they've got you to say yes on a call? What is their strategy? Why are they trying to get to say yes? Positive response. Correct, Joseph. Okay. So when sales guys phone you up, they're always trying to get you to say a yes question or an answer yes to a question that they've asked you. Why? Because you're starting off on the right foot and it's a positive manner that you're leading people onto. So every time you can ask people a question, the response is a yes, you're informing a relationship and a positive response and getting guys to say yes, yes, yes. And before you know it, you say, hey, Joseph, can I book in a meeting with you either at 9:30 tomorrow morning or at 2:30 in the afternoon? Guess what? The client will say, yeah, great, 2:30 will be great. Thanks very much. Let's book it in. Because they've been used to a positive response. Okay. So that's why it's vitally important. Anything important that you guys are going to ask people is to say their name, okay, and ask a very specific set of words thereafter, okay, and then always get them to have a question in there to have a yes answer. Okay, that is very important with what we're trying to do in Project Winner. Okay, now also in what we're going to clarify is that Project Winner is what Ian has been talking about in the E12. It's vitally important that people get into habits, into good habits, and make sure that this becomes a routine. That's why we put this on a 21-day strategy session, and that we go through with people, and there's a 21-day sprint that we do, and we put people into squads. The reason why we put people into squads is we get them to be accountable, okay? And if they are accountable to their squad members, they'll actually start doing the work. And when we have, because we do training sessions not on one-on-one, but we do group sessions. And when you're in a group and you haven't done your homework, that's where the group session is very, very powerful. Okay, because people keep each other accountable. But not only that, people actually here on our community help each other out. You learn a lot from other people in the community. Okay. So what's the number one rule of Project Winner? Okay, is you've got to get yourself into doing the task. Okay, in the old days, there was a guy who started inventing this process that he actually, when new salespeople came through the door, he actually sat them down at a desk and handcuffed them to the table. He said, right, you're staying here until you actually do this. Once you've completed your task, you can go. Okay. So, I mean, I guess you can't do that in Australia. You don't handcuff guys to desks anymore. The good old days are gone. But, it's a mentally block. So you guys have got to go and say to yourself, whatever the best time to go and do this for, between 9:30 or 10:30 or whatever it is that from that project that we just did together early on, what is the best time to phone people? And how long do I have to break my goal into this activity? Put a notice on your door or put in your calendar and say, hey guys, don't contact me. I'm doing this work from this time to this time. Okay. So get chained to your desk. Guys, this is what I'm trying to say is, chain yourself to the desk. Okay. Now, rule number 2 is that selling only one thing on the phone is you're going to get a lot of guys that come back and say, hey, we don't have time and so forth. Okay. So that's why it's important to, as I said, you got to get guys and to try and say yes, yes, yes. Okay. It's very, very important to get into that routine. So that's why you got to make sure that your scripts are intact and make sure they're done properly. Okay. And you've got to be in control of what you guys are saying. Okay. And that's why it's very important is that analogy of Coke and so forth is an analogy that you guys got to take into when you're doing those specific project winners. Okay. Now, you need to make sure that you guys be able to achieve these results. Okay. So just remember that the most important person on that call is the person that you're speaking to. Okay. So if there's something that is very important that you guys need to do is remember to use their name. Okay. Most importantly, get them to answer yes to the questions that you guys have got. Okay. That is vitally important. Okay. So if you can get this appointment now when you're on the phone, that's one less thing that you guys have to do. So normally when we have phone calls with people, we have a brainstorm session that's 10 to 15 minutes long and we qualify them. And therefore, thereafter, we actually go and have a strategy session thereafter. But if you guys can do that on the same call, it allows you then more time to go and do things that you want to go and do. So if you can get that appointment now, make sure that you've got the script ready to nail it. Okay. Because then it saves you guys a lot of time and a lot of effort further down the line. Okay. So a lot of people say, okay, what are these scripts? What scripts can we use or what do they look like? Okay. So in your workbooks, you've got a general outline, of what a script looks like. You've got an intro. Okay. You've got a body and you've got the close. Okay. Now, as I said, if you apply these aspects that we're saying on Project Winner, okay. Now, in this part here, what can you notice in this first part here? What do you guys notice in this first part here? Anybody notice me? It's the way I was brought up for my family. Okay. Guys, you've got to be very courteous. Okay. And make sure you ask people questions about how you're feeling today. How are you today? Because you're trying to be very polite. Because as soon as somebody comes with an objection and you've been very polite on the phone, it's very hard for them to be impolite. Okay. Sometimes you will have people that are like that, but majority of the time, if that you come across polite and well-mannered on the phone, it's very hard for people then to step away. Okay. Because you're going to be very courteous with them. All right. So that's why it's very, very important. Okay. So as you can see is that when you have a phone call, is you've got to say to the guys, this is the reason for the call. Okay. And you've got to understand and ask them, if you're going to go and send out a message on LinkedIn and you would say, the reason for my call today, I just seen that you connected with me on LinkedIn with regards to this question that I asked. And then you immediately got the attention. Okay. So the more precise information that you can tell somebody, okay, the more influence you have on the call. Okay. Now, when we tell people on a call or on LinkedIn, every time we do a message, we have to have what we call as a CTA. It's a call to action, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have a call. We're trying to understand what the people want on the call. We're not trying to sell to them. We're just trying to understand their frustrations and if we can help them. Okay. But the purpose of having the call is to have a plan of attack. And the plan of attack is to have a call to action at the end of the call. Now, what we're trying to achieve, we're trying to achieve to have the next meeting. We're trying to achieve to understand what the problems are, how we can solve the problems, to ultimately turn a brainstorm session into a strategy session. Or if not, we're just trying to say, hey, can we have a discussion next week when you're a bit free? And if you've been courteous and polite, quite often the people say, yes, for sure, we can have a meeting next week at this time. And then when you phone them up again, you can say, hey, John, I phoned you up last week. We had a discussion and you said that you will be available at this time to phone you. Okay. Now, in any sales or any phone calls that we have, there's going to be objections. A lot of people are going to say, hey, I'm not busy. I'm busy. I don't have enough time. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So any workbooks, there are a couple of objections that we go through. Okay. And we work through this with our clients to say, if you get these specific objections in your specific workplace or your specific clients that you work with, because every client's going to be different, depends on what space you're dealing with. Okay. The objections will be slightly different. But you've got to handle every objection as politely as possible. Okay. And you've got to say to them is once you've ascertained right at the beginning of the call, if you've been courteous with them, it's very hard for them to say no. If you ask them for a yes question all the time, it's becoming for them to say, and that becomes very hard for them to start arguing with you because you've been getting them to say yes, 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 yes. Okay. So in your workbook there, I'm not going to go through all of the objections because there are more important things that Ian wants to go through with regards to what we want to deal with on the E12 program. But you just got to look at the objections on what objections that come through and write them down. When you have conversations with people, what are the type of objections that come through? Okay. Write them down and then you can fill them into the objections and say, hey, quite often these people object because of this and this. How am I going to overcome this objection? Okay. And what can I do to combat that objection? Okay. What do I take away from that phone call I've just had with that client? And how did I handle that objection? Okay. That he had. As soon as you start collating that data, you'll see that there starting to become a pattern. Okay. And it might be in the different industries. You might be going after healthcare or finance or logistics or something like that in your different sectors. That different people in different sectors have different objections. Okay. But you start to generate a pattern. And what does that pattern look like? Once you've ascertained that pattern, then you'll be able to write a script and say, this is how I'm going to respond to this specific objection. And if you've got a game plan in place that when these objections come up, you know how to handle them, okay, you can change that phone call around from a cold conversation to a warm conversation. And that's what we're trying to do. Okay. So the whole purpose is write yourself a script, okay, down, have a look at it, collate the objections that people have with specific objections they might have, change your script to adapt to those specific objections that people might have. Okay, that's really, really important, because once you collated the data, is you'll be better prepared when you have your next phone calls. Okay. Are there any questions from the team? Does anybody have any questions with regards to what I'm going through at the moment? As I said, there are specific analogies on your workbook, guys, that we've given to you, okay, that you guys can work through. And as I said, it's just getting into a rhythm, having a chat to people, and understanding what the right questions to ask, understanding if they do have objections, what are your answers going to be to those objections, and how can you handle those objections? Okay. Are there any questions coming through generally?
So far, none, PJ. Maybe you can can out some.
Guys, any specific questions on Project Winner?
No, PJ, I think the most important thing about Project Winner is that it's a process, it's a framework that gets results. So it's trying to get into a good habit of doing those phone calls. We're going to talk a bit about that in the preloaded calendar next, but it's about having a framework that you work and adjust. Now, when we do this internally with the E12 clients, Everest 12 clients, is we actually keep on refining that message all the time so they get better at it. And eventually that messaging that you do on the calls becomes second nature. Getting that good habit, that rhythm. That second nature thing is basically you can actually pick up a phone and just make that phone call happen. And then you know what you get. But if you do not have a script, you won't get the consistent results that you need to get. All right. But once again, it all starts really at the beginning of that. What problem you're trying to solve, how you understand that problem in the marketplace, how you position yourself, and then it's the script to actually follow that through. Okay. A lot of people that join us will do the Project Winner either before lead gen or after lead gen process. It doesn't matter when you do the lead gen. The lead gen for us is we build a database of hot leads for our clients, and then we market to them, we nurture them through marketing, and that's through email marketing, that's through webinars, that's through whatever it is, SMS messages, whatever it is. That's the nurture process. And then eventually you actually pick up the phone and you make a call and they know who you are. I think it's really, if you get that process all sorted out, very, very powerful to actually scale your business from, $1 million to 10 to 20 million bucks. Okay. It's if you want to do that and you've got the energy behind that, if that makes sense.
I think it's very important that a lot of our clients come to us and say, hey, PJ, we want to do lead gen. We say, okay, well, let's have a little session together and understand where we're at. And we go through our roadmap, we go through our model and say, all right, have you got this done already? No, we haven't. Okay, well, you can't do marketing, you can't do lead gen if you haven't got these fundamentals right. Okay, so we need to go back and have a look with our clients. We don't take any clients on that aren't done some fundamentals in order to jump onto lead gen. Okay, because if they haven't got the fundamentals done and the building blocks to do lead generation, is they're not going to get the results. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things and processes before we even jump onto lead generation that businesses have to go through and answer.
Yeah. PJ, look, I'm going to do the preloaded calendar next.
Yep.
We're going to have a break after that.
Yep.
And then after that, I wouldn't mind you kicking off for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and go through that score mechanism we take our clients through initially.
Sure.
You know, the triangle, if you can pull that up.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really good when the half-year review process, so we want to get you guys to do, is to understand where you are battling with that lead gen process. Really understand, because it is not like get leads. Like if we gave all our clients the phone numbers and the email address of their top 500 perfect future customers or clients, and you guys started phoning them up and just start doing stuff with them, you'll just get a zero result. All right, it's a process to get there. Just remember, we want to win long term. So when we sit down and we build up a map and work out where you go on the roadmap and actually a calendar of what you want to achieve with your business and your life, which is so closely in line, we've got to make sure that the goals are realistic, number one, and number two, that you guys get there. Okay. And one of the things we say to our clients, it's a journey. Everything's a journey, but we're building this business for you over the next 3 years or 4 years. And that's the journey we take with our clients. So there's a lot of things we do, but we show them the big picture and where to go from A to B and how to get there. And, you know, the lead gen is just one of the part of the process. But if you know who your client, perfect future customers, and you nail that down and you've got that really honed in and you market to that over the next 3 to 4 years, that's gold. All right. When you pick up the phone, you've had 2 or 3 discussions with people. Oh, I've got a contract with someone else in place. I can't take your contract. Hey, it's fine, Jeff. It's all right. When you're ready and, you know, and there's an opportunity or something goes wrong there, just give us a call. We're here all the time. Follow us on socials. Just look at this, look at that. That's what we do. That's how it works. That's the nurturing process. Okay. All right. Thanks. Anything else we should get on there, PJ?
No, that's all up to you, mate.
Okay, good. So what we're going to do is change the things around a bit, because I just feel like the energy's dropped a bit with everyone. So because it's a long session today, 4 hours and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to do the preloaded calendar now, which I think is important. We take this through process really in depth with our clients. So what I'm going to show you is just a high level view of something you can take and do yourselves. Okay. Once we've done that, we're going to jump on a 10-minute break. Once we've done the 10-minute break, I'm hopefully going to ask PJ to jump on and do a bit of the a self-assessment. Good time to do that in half year around lead gen. It's a triangle, okay, effect, where you score yourselves and go through where people want to score themselves and where they don't score themselves. Really important to understand there's a difference between that. And then we're going to go onto the actual session around the actual one-page strategy. I might even throw in, if you've got time, something else to just show you where in depth and how in depth we are when we take our clients through a couple of hour sessions. So I might just quickly show you for 5 minutes on something else if we get time to do that, like a bonus session or two. Okay, so you all can see my screen. Why is it important to talk about a preloaded calendar? What is a preloaded calendar for a start? The preloaded calendar really is about making sure we can achieve what we need to achieve for the business, okay, that we're running. All right. It's an organized approach. When people talk to us, they're trying to do everything, trying to do too much. And then we say, settle down, hang on, let's look at the Everest 12 roadmap. Once we go through that, we work on what's the right next thing for them. Okay. And then the next thing they say to us is, yeah, hey, that's great. But we just can't do it all. We just don't have a time. That's the next big thing. So, okay, settle down. We're going to go through the preloaded calendar. We're going to go through and organize yourselves a little bit more. Now, a lot of people, because we're structured generally, IT, we are fairly structured. We have been using the Outlook calendar for a long period of time. We know what we're doing, all these type of things, okay? What we're trying to do here is review where you're at with your calendar, how you spend your time, and are you effective? And are you doing it in a way that this will be something that you can carry on using in the future. Okay. So the first thing you got to do is get a spreadsheet out. All right. Because the preloaded calendar view is, we've got to have a spreadsheet. Now, maybe I'll get the guys, we've got a lot of that stuff we hand out. Have a look for a spreadsheet view, the calendar. You just go to Microsoft and create one quickly. But it's for the day, per week, per month, for the year. And you can put your activities in there. When people are planning on calendars, they go straight to Outlook and then they start putting on there. Stay away from that. It's too detailed. We want to have a high level view, work out what we need to do to achieve right. First, we need to review that process. We need to understand that. It takes 2 to 3 weeks. And then we need to lock that in. Okay, so this is not something that you can go and do in 5 minutes. It's something that takes a bit longer. Okay. If you guys are really worried about your habits and your challenges, the biggest book on the internet that you can buy, a highly rated book that you can buy on the internet, is a book by the name of Atomic Habits. I'm looking for my bookshelf here, but I can't seem to find it because, oh, here it is, yeah. Atomic Habits with James Clear. All right, I don't know if you guys can see me on the video. If you can do that, that's great. Have a look at that. James Clear, sorry, someone's not muted. If they just mute, could someone mute that person? Great. So James Clear, Atomic Habits, fantastic read. It's highly rated. It's probably the most highly rated book on the actual Amazon. Buy it, get the audiobook, do it all, read it 3 times a year. It's one of the books that I love and believe in. And if you can see my bookshelf, I've got about 40 books that I go back to all the time and make sure that our clients use. But it's about getting into the right habit to be successful. And successful is really important because we put so much energy into running our businesses. We want to make sure that we get what we put in. So a point working for 10 years in a business and then realize it's not worth anything to sell or to hire a management team to run or do anything like that. You just waste your time. You might as well go and work for someone and work for 50 hours a week and enjoy your life. Okay. A lot of people out there, they get confused. Don't have a business that runs you. Have a business that runs itself and you run it. Okay.
Harry's just dropped the preloaded calendar in for those people who want it. It's in the chat session there, guys.
Great. Did he upload it or did he just link it? Great. So he uploaded it directly. Fantastic. So look, great, that spreadsheet that Harry just put in there. Thanks, Harry, for doing that. The first thing we want to do about your calendar, and we do this every year with our clients when we start off in the new year. Like everyone goes away on holiday for Christmas, New Year's. They come back, New Year's resolution. Everyone's so pumped. I love doing this exercise then because what it does is people are open to have change in their business to actually achieve the results they want to achieve. And good habits, really important. And when you have a habit, you've got to reward yourself, guys. So if you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to do some heavy, hardcore exercise, have a little treat or coffee or something afterwards that you really go, oh, that's nice. That's why I want to do that. Okay. So that's all about that's in Atomic Habits. I'm not going to do a job. That's James Clear's job and he's brilliant at it. And there's no way I can compete with them. But this is a bit different. This is about having the calendar sorted out for your business. All right. So here we go. We're going to, on this calendar, as you see on my screen, we're going to do the SCS model. Stop, carry on, start. All right. So if you haven't got access to this and you haven't printed it out, that's awesome. Don't worry. Just draw 3 pieces, on a piece of paper, 2 big circles that overlap, like you see on the actual Zoom. Make sure you got 2 big circles. And I want you to do this activity. All right, because if you don't do it, you're not going to follow through on this activity, and it's vitally important. It's something that you're going to do. Take a week or 2 to do it, but just start it now with us. All right, I'm going to ask you a question, guys. Is everyone ready with a pen and piece of paper, or iPad and pen, or Surface Pro, or whatever you have? Are you ready? Can you just type in chat? Yes, you're ready. Just one person at least come in there. Are you ready? Yes, yes. PJ is ready. Joseph's ready. Fantastic. All right, Joseph, when we get you onto E12, you're going to be doing this. Nicholas is ready. All right, committed, guys, committed. All right, this is important. So I need you guys to just self-actualization. I'm going to go through this now, and then I'll give you 5 minutes to go through it yourselves. And Janley's going to put a clock on it. I'm going to come back. Okay, so everyone take note. All right. And even for those that on this call, I've got a few of my staff members, do this for yourselves, guys. Do this for yourselves in your business. All right. Still coaching tip to my own team. 1 or 2 of you guys on it now. Please do this activity. Really important. All right. What do we do that we shouldn't be doing? There's some shit in our lives, guys. Our lives are crowded. We're over, a lot of social media. There's a lot of good things happening and there's a lot of bad things happening. We know that. We know we're all clever enough to understand that. We're not total, robots. Okay. So what are we doing that we should stop right now? All right. And I'm going to talk about this from a, example that's outside of IT, running businesses. Let's say if I want to lose weight, which by the way, guys, I'm up and down. I own 2 breweries in the sideline. There's a whole lot of stuff I do outside of coaching, which is my main gig and my joy and passion. But there's a lot of things I do that leads me to eat a lot and drink a lot. Personally, I enjoy it, my food, and I enjoy having beers as well. All right, that's not saying that you all should go and do that. That is something I need to limit and stop. My example. That's why I drink the green juices as much as possible, because I eat extremely healthy, but then I also eat extremely unhealthy. Okay, if that makes sense. So when I'm healthy, I'm like the most healthiest person on the planet. And when I'm not healthy, I'm eating a beer, having a burger every now and then with a beer, every now and then as well, which is really counterintuitive. But that's the way I live. But what do I need to stop in this situation is being unhealthy. But in this situation, you can write in yours. So stop. My scenario here would be something like this. Here we go. It'll be stop. What do we need to stop doing right now? Okay. What do we need to stop doing? And then the next scenario, what we're going to write here is, what do we need to carry on doing? What are the things we're doing well? I mean, obviously we're here on this call. You want to self-educate yourself. Brilliant. Tick in the box. Maybe education is the thing you want to do. Maybe coaching is the thing you want to do. Maybe other things that you're doing, carrying on doing now, is the way you're working with your existing clients. What are you doing well in your business that you need to carry on doing? There must be a ton of things there. So write those things down. Write those things in here. The carry on stuff, let's write them in the intersection of what you need to achieve. All right, have you all got that? Let's write, that's a bit wobbly, that circle. Let me just do that a little bit better. Okay. All right, what do we want to carry on? And what, more importantly, do we need to start doing, guys? What do we need to start doing? Now, I'll take this through my clients, a coach, or even take my clients' staff through this sometimes. Okay. So stop would be being hands-on. Now, what do I mean by that? It could be one example. Like, hey, I've got to delegate more. What I am is I get involved too much. I do too much work, and I override my staff. My staff get pissed off. We know we do that. If that's the case, all right, let's write that down. So stop being hands-on. I'm only hands-on 2 days a week. That might be the thing you want to do. Not 5 days a week. I need to have time to think about my business. I need to go and hire someone to do the other 2 days that I take off, subcontractor, or delegate it to someone in the team. So what are the things do we need to stop doing? All right. I'm going to go ask you guys to go through these things. Give me some ideas as we go to make it more relevant to the people on the call today. What other things should we stop doing as business owners in IT services business? What other things should we stop doing? All right. I would say the other thing would probably be, if not delegating correctly, would be over delivering. Another one would be, let's just remember this correctly. Okay. over delivering. Now, what I mean by that is you might quote something for a client and then basically you do the work and you go, oh, you know what, I could do that and that. I'll just do that without actually raising another quote. That sounds crazy, but people do it all the time. Okay. Stop doing let me just have a think here. Having too many meetings. Like you could have too many meetings and you're not focused on actually delivering or strategizing or actually executing certain things. Have the right person at the right meeting. Don't have everyone at the meeting. Have the right person at the right meeting to execute on it. Really important. Okay. Stop working on weekends, PJ said. He's talking about me. I know. That's me working on weekends. I do love work though. Working weekends. Stop working on weekends. That's an important one. You're not fresh. And if you're not, I'm coaching, so it's a bit different. But when you're doing the grind and you're doing stuff you don't really love and all that stuff, then what's going to happen is it's going to drain the energy out of you. That energy, you impact staff, you impact clients, you impact a lot of people, your family as well. So stop working on weekends. It sounds interesting when I say that because it sounds easy, but it's not. Because, you've been doing it for maybe 4 or 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. So stop working on weekends. Get a plan. Make sure the plan sticks to it. You stick to the plan. If it's not working, revise the plan. Make sure you do that. What are the things that are currently working in your business or in your life? It could be things like gym. I currently go to gym all the time. For me, I go swimming. Personally, for you guys want to know me, I go sea swimming. I do a couple of Ks in the sea most mornings. One thing I'm not doing, and I need to start doing, just on the health side, is get on the bike. I've got a Peloton bike. It's sitting in the garage. Very nice Peloton bike. Haven't used it honestly in about a month. So I need to get back on that. That's something I need to revise and put on my calendar. What other things can you carry on doing? You could be coaching or teaching your staff. To upskill them. It could be having calls with clients. What are the things that you're currently doing in your IT business or in your personal life that you need to actually do? All right, there you go. Peter wrote another one that's really powerful. It's taking a day off of work on a specific day. I take Mondays off, personally. I take Monday off. Monday is my day. So no one else's day. It's Ian's day. My family isn't even on my Monday. It's my day. I've got little activities I go and do. Go for massage for an hour and a half. I'm going to have breakfast by myself. I would listen to some audio books or read a couple of books for work. Those are things I like to do. Kick back, chillax, do whatever I want to do. Monday. All right. Don't have any calls on Monday and nothing like that. Nothing. All right. So what else can you do that carries on making something really, really powerful that you're doing at the moment? It could be multiple things. Okay. It could be a networking event that you go to that gives you a lot of leads. It could be, learning from Microsoft forum, or there could be some things that you're doing there that is actually really, really powerful for you and your business. Write them down. What are the things that you need to start doing that you haven't started yet? What are those things that you need to start doing? There are a lot of those things. Let's get them down now. Let's write them down. All right. So, for example, that's for me, as I said, I need to get back on my Peloton bike. It's a beautiful bike. It's great. I need to get on it, and I enjoy it when I do get on it. I don't know why I got out of the habit. It's just because I've been traveling for the last 5 weeks or so, and haven't been at home much. So it's time to get back on the bike starting tomorrow morning. What else do I need to start doing? I need a lot of things I need to start doing. But what do you need to start doing in your business? All right. And there could be something like making calls to old clients. Listening to staff. Organized. There could be a lot of things that you need to start doing. It could be things like hiring staff. So it frees you up. Have you got the bandwidth to do that? And sales. Lots of things you need to do. Right. So I'm going to ask quickly Jan Lee to put 5 minutes, okay, to actually sit down and write your stop, carry on, and start process. Okay. And please fill that out on the diagram. Then we'll carry on. And I want some examples from you guys. Okay. So I've got a few of you guys there. Anyone that's doing it, get back to me on this and let's start what we need to look at, stop and carry on. So the things that you need to stop right now, that's killing your time, it's draining your energy, making you a negative person within your business. Or is it something to do things that are carrying on that you're doing well? Maybe you just got to do a little bit better, execute a little bit better. And what are the things you need to start as your business? And this is also your personal life because it's all wrapped up together. Okay. It's all really wrapped up together. PJ, anything you want to add to that before we jump on to the 5 minutes to do that activity? Are you still on it? Yeah. Anything that you should add to that, do you think?
Yeah, it's a habit to try and get them to delegate to staff. What helps it also, if you delegate to staff, it gets them on the right career path. That's what we try and do with our staff. You know, we're trying to make them accountable and let them step up and take over client calls and stuff, because that's what we're trying to promote in our staff, to become better.
Yeah.
Plus, it's freeing you up to do other things that you need to do, which are important.
Yeah, 100%. Freeing you up to do things that makes you get energy back into your business and yourself. Really important. All right, I'm going to stop for 5 minutes, and then we're going to ask Jenny, you still there with us? You got called up into something else?
Yes.
Okay, this is a quick 5 minutes. Actually, let's make it 3 minutes. All right, 3 minutes. Everyone to fill these 3 circles out: stop, carry, start, and then we can take it on to the next section. So if you can do it for 3 minutes, that'd be great. And play some music, not too loud, but some soothing music, not some rave music as well, generally. Okay, let's go for it. Don't forget, guys, stop, carry on, start. Okay. Okay, that's good, guys. We're nearly there. Nearly there. Just keep on writing those things down that you need to stop, carrying on, and start in your personal life as well as in your IT business as well. What do you need to stop, carry, and start? Let's keep on writing those down. Keep on thinking. Okay, great. All right, now we've done that. Let's just quickly go on to the next part of this actual preloaded calendar. Really important to do it. Really important to reflect on it all the time, to make sure that you're getting the most out of your time, and you actually got space to really energize and to get things working. So what we're going to go next on part of this theme is, you've got that spreadsheet that lovely Harry's popped in there. Make sure you downloaded that at some stage, print that out, and then scribble on it. But you can do that activity towards the end. Okay, you don't have to do it on this call yet. What we want to do is work out, when we look at the pre-color calendars, is, are we doing the right thing at the right time? Yes, we look at the roadmap. We understand on the Everest roadmap what we should do as projects, how we help you through the projects. I might show you something just now on exactly what we mean by that and how we help you out. But really, it's like, what are the big ticket items? What are the big rocks that we talk about? Okay, so what actually happens is, when we do this whole process with the actual calendar, is we do this. This is what happens. I'm just going to go into a bit of a worksheet here. This is the challenge that people have with time and getting things executed. Really, really important that you watch this piece here. Let's say our life, our time that we have in personal and at work is a jar. Okay, I'm going to draw this for you for a second. Okay, it's a big jar. All right, I'm not a good drawer, but I'm in IT for so long. That's a jar, and in that jar, we can throw things in that jar. Okay, but we have the big things that we need to look after first. The big things are, we call rocks. All right, what are the big rocks that are our activities that we need to do? The right next thing. What are the major things we need to do? Okay, what are the things that we need to do that are actually going to make a big impact in my business week on week? The main things. All right, because when I talk to clients all the time, and I have to slap them on their hands and say, hey, don't do that. That's naughty, because it's naughty because you're doing the small things. Sometimes that aren't the big ticket items that you need to do. And sometimes you need to do the small things as well, but you've got to do the right thing at the right time. So look at the big rocks. We're going to go through that just now. The next thing that comes along is the sand. The smallest thing, is the pebbles. All right. So what are the pebbles? They're slightly smaller. All right. They aren't as big as the rocks. Things that we still need to do. Okay. And then you get the sand. Okay. The sand are the personal things we need to do as well. Things that we need to make sure that you don't forget your daughter's birthday 2 weeks out, that you plan something in for her. Because what's going to happen is she's going to become old one day and leave at 23 or whatever she leaves home. Depends on, where you live and what's happening. But you want to make sure you utilize every bit of time you have with your family and do it well. Because you know what? You'll get regret. I was there once. I was working 80 hours weeks for 5 years, my first business. Yeah, I grew like a rocket ship. That was great. Lost a lot of time with my family. I got it back after that. But I was so determined to get this machine working that I lost a lot of time that I will never get back. Got to make sure that sand's in here. That sand's in here. And that sand is, things that we need to do, guys. That's important. in mostly our personal lives, right? What does that sand look like? It could be things like birthdays to your best friend. It could be, I'm turning 50 this year, for example. So I've planned my 50th birthday out to some degree already, and it's only in late November. Okay. But I also know that when other people's 50th birthdays are on, because of, the rough age. So I'll make some effort to find out when their birthday is on and make sure we got that in the calendar, because I'm pretty busy. If people phone me up 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out and say, hey, we've got a birthday on a weekend, the chances of me attending that birthday is very slim, because I've organized myself. All right. So I want to make sure that works. So make sure you got your birthdays in there. If you haven't seen your best 5 friends, make sure once a month you've got a dinner with one of those friends. So every quarter you're having a catch up with at least one of them. If they're all disorganized, it's cool. You can't organize the world, and you don't want to be too organized, but you want to make sure you got time in there so you don't forget them. Time in there that you are prepared 2 weeks out, that you've got something for your daughter, that you thought about it, that you've got something that's going to make her feel really happy, and then you feel happy that you put the effort into it as well, and not try and do something an hour or two before the day before. Oh my God, my daughter's got a birthday. Let me go and do something. That's crazy talk. Let's get ourselves organized. Okay. What happens though, unfortunately, with this jar, okay, if you guys haven't worked it out, is we take it and we're trying to fill it up, because that's our time that we have. This jar represents time. That's our calendar, really, our cal. If we don't have a process to manage what goes into that jar, guess what's going to happen? Things aren't going to fit in that jar. Chaos happens. That's what happens. Let's say, for example, we take the pebbles, we try and throw them in as well. All right. Yes, Chen, this is what happens, guys. The sand, we try and fit the sand in, and it can't really get in there. It falls out. This is what's going to happen. All right. This becomes red. We're not going to actually do this activity. It falls out. We can't get this stuff done. There's going to be impact. You're not going to love what you're doing in no time. You're going to go, oh, I'm always thinking about this. I'm always thinking about, I've got to do this. I'm always got to think about that. Stop. Take control of your lives. Get some organizational happening. Run through it. Make sure if you every quarter or every 3 or 4 months, you go back and review your calendar. Make sure you're on top of things. Make sure you're getting what you need out of it. If you don't do this, what's going to happen is chaos is going to take over. Your clients will feel that. You'll feel that. The results, referrals, and everything else you have is not going to work. If you aren't in control of what you want, you're not going to get what you want. As simple as that. Okay, hopefully that little visual exercise of the jar is really important. When you're under stress and things aren't working, just think about, hey, what that crazy guy Ian said to you about that virtual jar. Start to think, have you got the right things in that jar? If you're not, and you're feeling guilty or upset about things, you obviously haven't got the right things in the jar. So go back to that jar. Think about what's important. Let's get back into the next slides. Okay, so we're back here. We've got your start, carry on, stop, carry on, and start. That's what we're going to try and put in the jar, guys. These little elements that we need to take and throw into the jar. And if they can't fit into the jar, the carry on, the start stuff, then we've got a problem. So the stuff that's got to go into the jar are obviously these 2 areas here. All right? These things. Not this. Not stop as well. The big rocks. How do I look at big rocks? So how we break it down, sorry, some of the stuff's fallen out. When it goes to PDF, it doesn't really fit in here. So that sort of heading's not looking at flash, some of the stuff. Not to worry, you guys are fine. It's the same thing, it's content. So at the end of this year, what did you actually achieve? Now, this is half year, right? End of this half year. All right. What did you actually achieve? What was the monthly revenue number? How many clients do we have? How many staff? And how many free days did you have? For me, it's Monday. All right. I didn't have last week, Monday, I actually was in Philippines with the team. I didn't have Monday off. That's fine. It's not but majority of the time, probably 90% of the time, I'm having Mondays off. All right. Because I've planned for it and I've worked my lifestyle around what I want. But for you guys, it might be 2 half days, or it might be a week. Sorry, a Monday, or it normally isn't Monday for IT. It's normally about a Friday, but it's a Friday every 2 weeks. Our clients will generally be able to, in the situation, plan for takeoff. All right. So I was speaking to one of my clients about a month and a half ago, and I said to him, "What do you really want for the rest of this year coming up?" And he goes, "This." I said, "No, I don't think you want that. You're making the numbers, you're making the revenue numbers, you're doing all that stuff. What about that half free day or that free day every 2 weeks that we want to take off that we spoke about a year ago? It's time to get that into your calendar. It's time to make sure that you can get things and look after yourself personally as well. Let's put some effort into that." Okay. That's the free day, hashtag free day thing. So what do you want to have at the end of this year? All right. What do you really want to have? What's the revenue number? What is that number? People don't plan. If you don't plan, you don't have a vision, you'll never get anywhere. All right. So what is that revenue number you want? How many new clients? I mean, sometimes you don't need new clients. You just need to sell more existing client. But how many new clients do you want by the end of the year? All right. Does it mean you have to hire staff to do that new work? It probably does. Okay. All right. So just bear that in mind. How many new clients do you need? Okay. How many new staff members do you need? And your free day. So you've got to have that in there. All right, when you get this planning right. So it could be, you might be 5 existing current clients or 15. How many do you want by the end of the year? Is it realistic to have 18 new clients, 18 on existing clients by the end of the year? So it's 3 that you moved up. I don't know. I don't know what your workload is. I don't know what your team's like. I don't know what areas RT services you're in. Doesn't really matter. You would know. You need to pop that down. How many free days you want? Is it 1 day every 2 weeks or 1 day a month you have off extra on top of your holidays? Some of the clients I talked to initially, when they come on, they haven't had a proper holiday in like 5 years. I go, man, you're crazy. That shows you that you're not really in it running a business. The business is running you. Stop that stuff. It's not sustainable. Guys sell their businesses for nothing. Like I've helped a couple of businesses been sold recently, the last year and a bit. They were sold for top dollar. They made a real load of money, and they've made a game-changing decision in their families' lives. Most people that I see outside that we end up doing coaching, they sell their businesses for jack shit because they don't have a business to sell. It's just a mess. Stop that. No point in that. Rather close your business down and go and work for someone else. Enjoy your life. All right. Now, on the next section here, we want to make sure that you have what are the main things happening to make action. So it's deals. How do you make these deals? So if you want these numbers, all right. If you want these numbers, how do you get these? How many deals do you need? What actions you need to do to get these deals to happen? Really important. So if I want to win 3 new clients in the next 6 months, decent sized clients I'm talking about at this stage, how many activities, how many presentations do you have to do? How many sales calls? How many requests for information, RFIs or whatever, RFPs I have to do, whatever it is. How many do you have to do to land them? All right. Now, most of my clients, when I start, we do analysis, they're not getting 80% strike rate. They're and above. When I say 80% is your biggest decision, at 80% that you lose against is the clients not making that decision. That's the number one reason you should be losing the deal. All right. Not against someone else. So if you do all this work to win a deal and you lose it to someone else, that's bad news. All right. Really bad news. All right. So stop that as well. That could be the thing is stop losing deals. And that sounds easy, but you've got to have the logic behind it. If you don't have a calendar built in and you don't have time to do the right thing, you're just going to end up doing RFPs and RFQs for someone else's CAD and finder. They're going to use your number to drive down their current provider. That's not good enough. Stop that. If someone out the blue asks you to do RFQ, RFI, don't even reply unless you're driving it, unless you're driving that whole process. Because the chance of you winning it, as the stats globally show you, is very low. And you don't have the time to do that. Some big companies use that as a mechanism to get in and slowly start to position people in there. That's different. If you're a small company under 100 staff, don't do that strategy. Know what you're doing. Have control of the sales process. Have a control of you delivering to your clients. Frequency, how often do you do that? We just talked about Project 21. Get some momentum in your sales process that PJ went through. All right. So in that situation, we do like 21-day sprint. That could be something that you put on your calendar. That could be something that you actually work towards. Okay. Really important. What's the frequency you're going to do that's going to drive these big numbers here? What are the little activities you're going to do? You need to write them down. Okay. What activities? All right. Really important. Next part we're going to get onto is the Pebble Planner. Okay. Really important to have those pebbles. Remember, big rocks, right? Here are big rocks. Big rocks here. The money makers, the big activities, the big thing is going to make a big influence. So then we're going to go to the Pebble Maker. The planner, sorry, maker. The Pebble Planner. What are the little things we need to have in there to make sure things keep on going? Really important. Put your holidays in there. Like I've got a calendar. PJ and Harry, who are on this call, who are part of the E12 with me, we've got a calendar for the next year of activity that we are delivering to our clients. Content, frameworks, accelerators. We've got a calendar all lined up. They've got my holidays in there. My next holiday is in September. I'm off to Indo for 2 weeks surfing. All right, that's in the calendar. They know my holiday in December. That's in the calendar. We work around all those things that we can deliver content to our clients. So our clients are learning, upgrading, making their businesses better. The whole time they're building their businesses. We're helping them through that process. What are you doing for you and your clients? That's the question I want to ask you. But how do you do all that? Because there's so much things happening. There's not enough time, sir. That sounds interesting, Ian. That sounds interesting, PJ. We just can't do it. Bullshit. It's because you're not organized. It's because you just haven't had the discipline to do it. You're just fighting fires. The client phones, it's a priority. The client phones, it's a priority. Client phones, you can't do that forever, guys. Got to stop that. All right. So you've got to have the frequencies in here. Holidays, hell of important. If you don't have a holiday every 4 weeks every year, unfortunately, you're going to burn out. You're not going to have the energy. All right. So you need to put the duration. You need to put what are you going to deliver. Okay. For the pebbles. What's the next thing that's not big, like a rock, that you need to have in there? All right. Destinations. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? I'm off to Indo surfing. All right. 2 weeks with a whole lot of guys that I've been surfing for quite a few years. Can't wait for it. I'm actually looking forward to it, which means I know I can run hard between now and the next 5 weeks, whatever it is, until I go surfing. I'm running hard. I'm delivering so much to my clients and making sure they are positive and making sure they are delivering their stuff. So you got to do the same thing. If you go on holiday in 3 months' time, you got to plan with your clients that you're going to be on holiday. You got to plan that you know that you can deliver good quality services to them. So when it comes to that holiday, things aren't falling over on the client side. All right. Make sure you plan those things. Now we get onto the SAN part, the SAN snapshot. Really important. All right. What are your hobbies? Like I talk to my clients and they say, mate, I'm 45 years old. I haven't had time to have a hobby. I wish I could go mountain bike riding or ride trail bikes or, whatever it is. What are your hobbies? Walking a dog every day is not a hobby, guys. It's like, it is enjoyment. The dog enjoys it. You enjoy it. You get some, I do it every day, virtually. I walk the dog. I've got a little mini schnauzer. I've got my little AirPods on. I listen to audiobooks or podcasts. Love it for an hour. But that's not a hobby. A hobby is something that you enjoy doing. You're gagging, you're frothing at the mouth to get on and doing. What is your hobby? Some clients I get on board initially don't have any hobbies. I say, mate, what do you dream of doing? Get out there and do it. Let's put it in your calendar. Let's have some time set aside for it. Doesn't matter if you're 50 years old. Get on that mountain bike. Get an e-bike. All right? I've got 2 bikes. I've got an e-bike and another mountain bike. I get on the e-bike all the time because it's so much more fun. And I'm going to have to be overly fit on the mountain bike. You've got to be really fit. Okay. But the e-bike, it's still getting you out there enjoying it. You have fun. Okay. Let's do that. If you love having friends around you, and a lot of people are, humans are pack animals. All right. We just mentioned, I love a dog. Dogs are pack animals. They love to hang out together. All right. Humans are just as much pack animals. All right. We might not communicate well. Some of us might communicate really well and be introverts, but we are pack animals. We want to be together. So make sure you've got your friends sorted out on that calendar. Make sure you've got your family sorted out on the calendar. The events that are important, your 15th wedding anniversary or whatever it is, make sure it's in there, guys. Christmas lunch. Like, let's talk now to your extended family on who's having Christmas and where you're having it. Or Thanksgiving, whatever you have it in there. Personal development. Get in some programs. Get on the Loading Growth Coaching Program. Planning days. Do you have any planning days to make sure that your business is successful? Strategy days. Maybe even if you're by yourself, take a day off every 3 weeks or so to plan on actually strategizing. Not just stick it in between whole hours, take the whole day off. Birthdays, mentioned that before. Team training. You've got a team, bring that team on the journey. It's like, if you're running a business, it's sad being by yourself. And if you've got 4 or 5 guys or 20 guys or 30 guys working, if you bring them on the journey, they will be appreciative. They'll put more energy into business and your business will grow and you'll have more freedom. All right. Personal care. There's no point running hard if you don't look after yourself. And other things that you want to list, pop them in here. Okay. Really important, guys. Once you've got that all put in there, right? We've got to look at the bucket. Put all that stuff in there and actually list some of those hand items. Put them in here. Okay. Then you've got to do this thing here. Reverse dump, reverse dump, reverse dump, and delegate. Work out what is actually some of the stuff you can delegate to your team or just dump. All right. But you don't need to do in the bucket because you can't fit everything in that thing. Remember that diagram I drew, the virtual bucket? Things are going to overflow. But you got to cull some stuff. That's not important. All right. Really cull it. So there are stuff there that you can delegate it to a team. If you don't have a team, get a VA from us, whatever. They'll do some work for you. It's not an issue. But delegate is important. Delegate means you encourage someone to take some activity and do it for you and not overstep and tell them exactly what it's being done. It doesn't work out. Okay. Then once you've done that, grab that spreadsheet that lovely Harry has popped into the actual chat. Take that spreadsheet. All right. Now don't do this on Outlook yet. Do this once you've done this over the next week or two. Put those activities in there. So for example, in my calendar, I think I'm going on these dates to my surf trip. I can't exactly remember, but that's my surf trip. I'll put that in first because that's what I'm really looking forward to at the moment. But there's other things that we put in there as well. It could be I'm going to do a planning day. I'm going to do planning days like this. All right. But I've got to work as well. I've got to deliver stuff. 80% of my time in my situation is coaching. But 80% of your time is actually delivery as well. Okay, or coaching your team to deliver. So there is a whole thing like 80% to 5%, and there's a couple of other things, another 5%, and then there's like a 3 and a 2%. There's certain activities you should be doing in your business all the time. Like it leads up to 100%. All right. To build your business, that's what you need to start thinking about. Okay. But on top of that, what else can you do? You've got your plan now. You've got your rocks. You've got your pebbles. You've got your sand. To start off with, don't do the Indo trip first scenario. Start off the rocks. Start off then with the pebbles and the sand, and then have a look at it, review it, delete stuff out. Like, you know what? I want to go on this Indo trip. Don't have time. I've got to take it out. Okay. What else can you put in that place? What else can we do? When you're looking at this calendar, it's going to get busy. It's going to get scary. So just review it. Take yourself 2 to 3 weeks to go through it. Make sure it's planned so you know what you're doing, and then you can communicate to your customers as well. Like I always say to my clients, the ones in Australia, not in the Americas, the ones in Australia, take those days off. Tell your staff, tell your clients at the beginning of the year that they will be all off for 2 weeks during Christmas, because we have a big break here in Australia and New Zealand. The guys in the US, it's July. Take when are the holidays they're on? Take and block it out. Make sure that they know when they're going on holidays, the staff, as well as your clients, and what the coverage is, all that. Start that out early as possible. Don't do it like a month before. Sure, but we're going to tell the client, you haven't done it. I used to do that. Then you have to, it's back wheelie, all the energy you're wasting, all that stuff on that. It's not good. If you plan things out, you free yourself up. You get better results, you get better outcomes. It's so, so positive. Okay, so make sure that you actually do that. Okay, make sure that you know where you want to go. That's what the E12 roadmap's about. That's now it's time to execute. That's what you need. Review, because it's half the year now as it's gone. 1st of August is today, I think it is. 2nd of August. Make sure you've lined yourself up for success for the rest. Okay, that's done. Any questions? PJ, any thoughts that you've heard me talk about this? You follow this principle fairly well. Anything that you want to say resonates with you or anyone else that has any thoughts about doing it or doesn't want to do it? Because a lot of people don't want to do it and go, okay, well, fine, come back to me. Come back to me when you're finished planning. Any thoughts? I'm going to open up the floor now. PJ.
I think with the thoughts with us, just by doing the activity, is that, if you guys need to tackle this scenarios, tackle the things that you know that are currently going to come up that are set in stone. Once they're set in stone, you can actually put them onto the calendar and they are set. Those dates cannot change. That's the first approach I would do. Okay. Then go back and say, right, what are the other things that specifically happen on these days, like holidays and so forth, and put that approach, public holidays and all of that, put all of that on. But like Ian says, when you do this approach, it looks scary, guys. I promise you now, when you start putting all the stuff onto calendar, you can actually see, my gosh, do I have to do all of this work and accomplish everything on here? And when you actually do it on a calendar, it actually makes you stop and realize, hang on, what's important? What can I physically do? What mentally can I do? What can I get my team to do more importantly? And that's what we need to get the process done. Because like Ian says, hey, yes, we have to have client meetings and so forth, but yes, we want to go on a surf trip. But if I don't be able to deliver everything, and if I don't get my staff to deliver certain items, that surf trip ain't going to happen. And what happens if that surf trip doesn't happen? I get bitter, I get resentment. Now I need to pick myself up. Now I need to go and work extra harder to go and reward myself. So if you put the hard work in and you plan everything, those surf trips become actually tangible, where you actually can go on those surf trips.
Yep, great, PJ. Look, we're going to break for 5 minutes. We're going to come back. PJ was quickly going to do that assessment for 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're going to touch on to the 1-year plan, one-page strategy planning, which is really important. Some of the activities that you guys need to do. Is that okay with that, PJ?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's all good.
Right. So if Jan Lee, if you can just jump on there and just put a 5-minute block, let's put the music down slightly, Jan. It's just comes through quite heavy on my audio. I'm not sure. So if you put it up for 5 minutes, Jan Lee, you can do that quickly. If she's still with us, maybe she's not.
Yes,
No, she's not.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. 5 minutes. Let's start that clock now. Let's get some energy, guys. Let's walk around the block, walk around your house, or your office, out downstairs. Do some stretching, get some glasses of a glass of water, make a quick cup of coffee. Be back here in 5 minutes. We're going to go through, PJ, you can start straight away. Go through that assessment. Make sure that people understand where lead gen and sales all fits into. And then basically we'll do the one-page strategy. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll see you in 5. Bye.
Okay, Jenny. Well, good. Okay, I hope you guys got up, got some water, stretched. Okay, so let's just crack on. So as Ian says, we take a lot of our clients through this module or the model. It's called LG90 Snapshot. And what we try and ascertain is when we have calls with people who want to get onto the LG90 program, we ask them, you know, currently where they have problems are, you know, what issues they're having, where they're currently at, how can we help them, and to see if they're the right fit, to see if we actually can help them. Okay, if we can't help them, then it's no point them jumping on and using our services. So what it actually is that it's a quick snapshot to see physically where you guys actually need help with regards to lead generation. Okay, now the score predominantly is out of 60, so there's 20 points for each specific category that we chat about. And so if you guys got a pen and paper, I just want you guys just to draw this triangle. Okay, and then as we go through it, just come up with a number that you guys feel comfortable with, or to rate yourselves where you're currently at with lead generation. Okay, and the processes that you guys have got in place. Okay, so as I said, there's three aspects that we look at. The first is how do we go and connect and build a community? The next is how do we go and engage and generate interest? Okay, and then obviously the last bit is how do we go and convert? Now, as I said, each section is out of 20 points. Okay, which is a total out of 60. All right, so before I start, I just want you guys, if you can, those of you who are still on the call, in the chat, can you guys give me an indication, where do you guys think people have the most problems with regards to lead generation? Is it number 1, number 2, or number 3? Just put it into the chat, guys. Where do you feel that most people in our IT services and product clients have the biggest problem with? Joseph says 2. Nicholas says 2. Okay. Anybody else on the call? Okay. Okay. So you guys are 100% correct. Okay. The biggest problem people have in our industry is how do people go and engage? Okay. So we'll go through a couple of scenarios on how we actually help people do that. But let's just get down to the scoring part of it. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is have a look within your how do you connect and build your community, is that there are two aspects. There's a people and there's platform. Now, people is, when we talk about people, is we've got to ascertain is how well do you know your client's market, or how well do you know your clients? Do you know who they are, who the roles are, where they're located, what industry we're going to target? How well do we actually know our marketplace? Okay, that is the most important thing, is how well do you know your current marketplace? Okay, so the rating is out of 10. So I want you guys to give yourselves a rating out of 10. Okay, just type into the chat, if you guys can, how well do you think you know your target market and the people that you want to connect to and build your community? Okay, 7, 7. Okay. Right. When we talk about platforms, meaning that in our system that we generate and how we go and actually communicate or connect and build our community is what Ian was talking about. Do you guys have a CRM in place? Do you have a database that you guys use on an Excel spreadsheet? Or do you have a marketing machine? Or do you use Salesforce or HubSpot? Or how do you actually keep all of these database people in a central located area in a CRM system? How well do you actually utilize that system? Is it automated, or is it still you having somebody to monitor that and do it manually? Or what are the activities you guys are doing? If you have got a CRM system, I'd mark yourself at 5. If it's an automated and you've got some sort of automation that you guys have generated in order to be able to go and connect to your community on certain days of the week, or you go nurture those people, that's great. Then mark yourself higher than a 5. But if you have got some sort of CRM, you'd be a 5 and plus. If you haven't got a CRM, but you've got a database, then you'd mark yourself 5 and low. If you don't have anything at all, then obviously you're going to be a 0. But if you're ranking you guys higher than a 5, is you've got to make sure that somebody's looking after the CRM system and they're feeding the correct information in there, and it's automated. Okay, you're not doing the work physically yourself. You've got somebody doing the work, or the system is working for you. Okay, so what do you guys rate for platforms? Majority of you guys, you had a 7 for people. What do you guys got for Joseph's? 5. Okay, Victor's 5. Okay, so our total score currently with those guys active on the call is 12. Okay, 12 out of 20 we got to solve. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go and look at the aspect of marketing. Okay, now in terms of marketing, there's 2 aspects of marketing that we do for LinkedIn specifically. Okay, and those specifics are passive marketing and active marketing. So in terms of passive marketing, is we view passive marketing as, hey, if we want to go and connect to somebody on LinkedIn, how do we actually go and try and up the odds for that person to connect to us? Okay, what we do is we go and locate that person and understand who he is. We go and see if he's active on LinkedIn. We go and see if they're writing content or they're posting or contributing on their LinkedIn profile. If they are, we go and start engaging with that specific person on LinkedIn, okay, to show trust. So that's a passive side. So out of 10, how much passive marketing do you guys do in terms of targeting your PFCs? Yeah, I'm not talking about blogs or newsletters or content that you're producing weekly or bi-weekly or fortnightly, whatever it is. I'm talking about passive marketing. How often do you actually go and engage with people on liking or commenting on posts that they actually go and produce on LinkedIn? Can you guys just put in your scores in there, Joseph or Nicholas? Inconsistently a 5. Thanks, Nicholas. Joseph, 4. Okay. So I'd mark it as a 4. Okay. Active marketing. Now, active marketing is how often do you guys go and engage with your community? You know, how often do you go and post either a blog or a newsletter? Do you do it weekly, fortnightly, quarterly, annually, or do you guys go and use weekly? On what days do you guys go and produce? Do you have a marketing agency that does this for you guys? Or do you guys do this yourself? Or potentially you guys could go and get a platform or a network of people that produce content, and what you do is just share that content and comment on it. Okay, so Nicholas says a 3. Okay, 3. Okay, now, so we got a total of 7 out of 20. Okay. Now, we move to the other side, what we're talking about Project Winner and what Ian has been talking about with regards to qualifying people, asking questions, asking the right relevant questions, and so forth. So when we talk about how do we go and do the sales part of it, okay, it's meaning this is not talking about people that you have already on your books or referrals, okay, because people get misconception is that, hey, I'm a sales gun because I get conversion of 80-90% of people, and we ask them a question, hey, is that referrals or is that brand new clients? And I say, no, that's referrals. Well, no, that doesn't count. We're trying to say, how do you approach brand new leads? Do you have a qualification process that you go through on a strategy on when they come into your CRM system as a potential client? do you have some sort of system that you have a brainstorm session with them, or how do you go and qualify those people? So out of 10 guys, how do you have a strategy session on how to go and qualify people or potential clients? So most of you guys who've been in business for quite a while should have a qualification system in doing that. So you got a 5 and a 7. Okay. So we'll mark that down as a 6 because it's in between. Okay. Now for those guys, some guys are sales gurus. They're guns. They can convert those people that they chat to 80 to 89% of the time. Okay. But some of us guys are all techie guys, and we don't know how to sell. We don't know how to close a sale. So how do we do that? Do we have what we've just gone through Project Winner and actually going and actually building your confidence up? Is that once we've qualified someone from what has come in from a lead, is how well can we convert that client into a paying client? So this is interesting to see how well do you guys think your sales strategies are. Nicholas says he's a 9, so he's a sales gun. Okay. Joseph, an 8. Okay. So you guys are pretty high. Now, generally speaking, is that for you guys, you're probably used to speaking to people a lot. And most importantly, you guys know your market, and you know exactly what problems you can solve, and you can identify and to close a sale. Okay. So we'll give that an 8 as the lowest. So there's 14. Okay. So as you can see, just from those two guys engaged, thanks Nicholas and Joseph, is that you guys correctly identified that the engagement part of it and the marketing side of it, okay, is where every single company falls down on. Okay. It's not that they don't have the systems in place or they have the right market to go to or the right PFCs that they want to go and track. They know how to build a community through networking and so forth. Okay. They know how to go and speak to people. They know how to close sales. Okay. But they don't have this part of it right, which is your marketing. Okay. And like we tell all of our clients, okay, there's no point in having 2 of these sides of your triangle correct and one side not correct, because they all have to work. Okay. In order to have everything successful is that, hey, if you've got a great system, okay, and you're a sales gun, that's great. But you can have nobody because you can't engage and can't go and engage these people and grow your database. Okay. So it's vitally important that we try and have a symmetric approach, that all sides of our triangle are aligned. Okay. And we've got to identify within our company, okay, where we have problems with and where we need help with. So like we know people have got big problems here on this side. That's why we designed the IMA system, okay, which is an automated marketing tool. Okay. Part of that, we give them a full-time CA, because to go and produce content, put content out there is a long and process that we need to do. And it needs to be consistent, and we need to go and nurture people. And we've got to do all the heavy lifting. That's why it's vitally important that we give a full-time CA to our clients. Okay. So that's basically in a nutshell how we look at people's lead generation strategy, and we come up with a strategy that best fits them. And we tell them, okay, well, this is what we think you need in order to achieve what you need to achieve and help you achieve certain areas of your business. Okay. So it goes back to what's the right next best thing for you guys to concentrate on.
Great.
Okay.
Great, PJ. Spot on. I love that diagram because it's a good time, half year review. What we're talking about today it's to review your whole lead gen process right through to sales. And a lot of people always, as you've mentioned already, put sales quite high, but unfortunately it's actually not as high as what they think it is. That's the one thing. So everyone thinks they can get a system up and running very easily. But what's the content in that system? And then the marketing, they always say they know they can't do, but they really fall down on the system and the sales just as much as the marketing. They know what they know, which is marketing they're not good at. But what they don't know is is really how good they are and should be in the sales and the system side. So it's easy, get a system up and running, woo, takes you 5 minutes to acquire a system or pay for it, on a credit card. But the reality is that platform, is it right for what you need? And have you got it working? And is it complicated? And do you have a team to manage it? And a lot of people don't. So that whole process doesn't really work, most of the time. All right, I'm going to quickly, thanks, PJ. Any questions on that? If there are, just jump in now quickly. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through something we deliver. This is the process where we deliver on the E12. I'll just give you a snapshot. One of the areas that someone spoke to me on Friday is around the recruitment side. One of our clients said, look, we need to get sharp on our recruitment. I said, look, there's a whole training we did on the recruitment a while back. Have a look at it and get back to me. He came back and said, it was great. That was fantastic. It really helped him out. So what I want to share with you quickly, just a glance of what we do when we do our training sessions on like a Thursday. We normally have a training session on the E12 on really how to, how to improve and scale your business. And we go through this as an example. So this example is just the one that came through on Friday, is what we did a while back. And we do refresh this training all the time. But one's really around what we call the recruitment flows, how to actually get staff into your funnel and get them ready to, when you hit the sales that PJ just mentioned, and you got that working, you got the marketing, the systems marketing, and the sales closure sorted out. The next thing that actually happens is the recruitment side's got to be, upgraded. Okay, really important to have a look at that. Make sure you've got people to do the work. So you can either use contractors initially if you're not confident enough with your pipeline, it's not solid enough. But the next thing is really to start to, once that gets honed in and we help you do that, its next thing is to hire staff to take the pressure off you and actually get those margins and the profitability rolling through. Okay, so this is sort of like the way we train. It's normally an hour session. We go through, we talk a bit about what the problems are, the challenges we see in the market. We then develop a checklist for our clients to go through, and okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we have to have, and all that sort of stuff. Create a funnel and all that stuff. We talk all about that. Then we go through like the tips and tricks, what you should do and not do. And like this one here, we say to people, speed is vital when you're actually running a hiring process, to make sure it's quick, fast. So go through this process, make sure everything's working, and then execute when it's with speed. Okay. And talk about packages and why not to use an agency, as this example does. Also, the example is we've got stuff in the recruitment trackers that we have in actual SharePoint. So this is a standard one that comes through from Microsoft SharePoint. We talk a bit about that, how to use that. Onboarding employee process also in SharePoint standard as well. So there's some stuff there. In the future, what we're going to do is develop some stuff for our clients in that area as well. We've got checklists, which we use Basecamp. We drop everything in a checklist. We give that checklist to our clients. They use that checklist to execute against, and they can dump that into any management tool that they want to have, like ClickUp or Monday or Planner in Microsoft, wherever it is. There's a whole lot of checklists they can go through and execute. And that's important. And then we talk about the nurturing process in this situation and the recruitment process, everything we have for our clients, so they are successful when they need to hire staff. It's a quite an in-depth process there. It's really important. It's a 22-slide deck, and we take that training to make sure that our clients can hire when they need to hire. It's a very competitive market out there, and that just gives you an example within like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of what we do. Okay, really important for that to end. And we're upgrading that process all the time to make sure that we educate our customers as much as possible. All right, that's part of the E12, as well as LG90, our lead gen process, which PJ takes through. We've been doing this for quite a few years now. We refine it, we get better. We've actually got our own coaches as well that coach us on how to deliver content and how to do certain things. And whenever we need someone specialist, we bring them into our organization. On our roadmap, we have a few specialists coming through the next 12 months to help us out, around procurement, around finances for IT, around all these other areas. We bring them out into our roadmap. But now, more importantly, we want to jump into the last session today. It's a bit of a dry topic, but a hell of important. And that is really the topic of making sure you have a one-page strategic plan. All right. Now, why is it important to have a plan? Well, if you don't have a plan, you fail. And the stats are out there. The stats are really out there. So 90% of businesses that come to speak to us and work with us don't have a plan when we start. And they can be like 10, 20 million businesses, dollar business, or they can be startup styles of 500K that don't have a plan to execute on. If you don't have a plan, we can't help you and you can't help yourself. You can't really say it any other way. That's why one of our first activities we do with our prospects is we make sure that they're willing to do a plan, they commit to that, and then when we sign them up in the start, we run through the planning process. Because if we know what they want, we can help them out with our content and our delivery and our frameworks and our systems that we build to support our clients. That's important. But more importantly, we want to know their aspirations. So when they look back 6 months later, they go, you know what, Ian, we've achieved that. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. You know, that's really powerful to have that. Really important to have that. Okay. So we know when they're going to achieve things and we know where we need to help them and when we together work on those issues. All right. So before we get going on the plan, we've got to really understand what are our core values. Core values are highly important. Core values are how to hire a person. We just went through that now. You're like, you know, what are their values? Well, their values, you've got to really understand them. When you're hiring them, you do that automatically through a process of, do you like them? Could you do all these type of things? Could they learn? Are they going to add value long-term to your organization? You know, are they going to step up? Are they going to do the training for free out of hours? Are they going to do things like better themselves or the people around them? You know, are those your values? If they are, that's great. You've got to write them down. Okay? Because the core values you hire against. The core values is what's going to grow your company, which when you grow your company, you need people around you to help you grow it. How do you take them on the journey? Some clients say to me, Ian, the staff member, we've been trying so hard, just so hard that they just don't want to grow with us. Oh, okay, there's a place for that person. You stick him on a role, but he needs to know that he's not going to get, you know, the future bonuses, the future incentives that we're going to deliver, because he's not just that type of guy. So when you hire services guys, a service team, and you build a team, it's not about them just doing the work. Get that out of your mind. As a business owner, it's how you're going to leverage them to get billable, utilized is one part. It's like 75% of the part. It's about how they're going to help you grow your company. You've got to change that. So people come to me and they end up working for their staff. That sounds, oh, no, it doesn't happen with us. It does. It's not a nice place to be in there. I've been there. In fact, I recently had a discussion this week when I was last week with my team in Philippines that support a lot of our clients. I said, like, where do we want to go? Where's our vision as a company in Philippines? All right. Are you going to support these guys going forward? And how are you going to support them? You're supporting some clients already. That's awesome. But how are you going to support them in the future? So what's your values? What are your things that you want to achieve? So you've got to write them down. So it could be your core values could be continuous learning. Continuously learning. It could be honesty. Transparency. Come up with 5 or 6 things, guys, that you believe are your core values. Make sure you hire against those core values. Make sure those core values are represented on your website. Okay? Don't make them so generic that they look like it could be from any company. Have the core values, but have a description on what each core value is. All right? Get your team involved. Ask them what their core values should be. Really important. This helps with marketing, helps with hiring, okay, and retaining staff. It helps against finding the right client. Some of my clients, when they talk to me about their clients, I go, mate, there's something wrong there. Get rid of that client. Like, don't have to get rid of it tomorrow, but in 3 months to 6 months, replace that client with someone else. If they're not coming to the party, if they're not, They're not nice to work with, get rid of them. But they can't generally. Oh, we can't, we don't have the revenue to replace that client. Well, that's why we need the lead gen machine working. That's why we need to get sales pipeline pumping, right? Because if you're not getting that working, you're having the odd client that needs not to work with you. Same thing with staff. You've got to have a sales process around your lead gen to get staff, all right? But let's go back another step. What's the purpose of your business? Really, what is it? We've got to understand that. Are you working for the business or the business working for you? That's really important, right? Because fun is fun, but at some point, there are bigger things out there that drive you. Like, hey, I love to get on and do some coding and all that stuff, but at some point, I know I'm not going to be there to support it. I'm going to get handed up to a team to do something. If I'm doing integration or something internally in the business, I've got to make sure that someone else is doing it, not me, all right? Because I know that my time is spent better onto something else. And it's fun for only so much, and then I know it's a pain afterwards. So work on what needs, what are the real needs for your business and for you as a person. That's why the design your life process and the Everest roadmap is important. So what's the purpose for your business? Okay. Now, the purpose could be, I want to be the number one to support real estate companies, healthcare, law firms, whatever it is. You could be number one in your market. I want to be number one in Australia, New Zealand. I want to be the number one in California or whatever it is, New York State or whatever it is. Be the number one for something. What is the actual number one goal? It could be around hiring the best 18 staff and working with the best team. That part of it could be it. What are the actions that you're going to have to live, and the values and the purpose and the BHAGs, big audacious goals, right? Hairy audacious goals. Write the actions down, all right? What are the actions going to be to get you to achieve your purpose? What are they? Now, you need to write this down. If you haven't got it, write it down and then review it every quarter. Tweak it, change it, update it, reflect on it. Okay, wow, I wrote that down. I go crazy. That was, what I was doing at that stage. I have no idea. Revisit it. Okay, revisit it. Follow up here with the person, how many people you need, what goal do you really want to be? Like my coaching thing is, I want to be the number one IT services coach on the planet. That's my goal. Not many people do what I do, so it's not that difficult, to believe it or not. Okay. There's a lot of guys coaching software and everything else, but not IT services. They're too generic. When people come talk to us, we talk about IT services. So we know what we're talking about. Okay, so that's my goal. Where do we want to be in 3 years' time? Let's put it down. Now, you might not know the numbers clear enough yet, but let's put some numbers down. All right? If you don't know what your numbers could be like, minimum is take last financial years and put 20% compounding year on year. 20% minimum on the top line revenue. You've got to be down in the margins. You've got to be around about 20 EBIT, around 20% plus. Like people go, wow, that's impossible. I'm running at 6. Well, that's crazy talk. You've got something really wrong there. Utilization's not up high enough, or you've got got too many staff that are doing not enough the right things, or you're running a large set of services that you are worried about giving up some of those services, and you've got some unbillable staff in those areas. That's what happens. There's about 10 other things that can happen to get that number down. Not hiring at the right price, not selling at the right price. You know all those things. We go through frameworks, every one of those. We want to get you guys sharper, leaner, and generate cash so you make money as the business owner. That's important. 3 years out, I need to know where you guys are. I need you to write that down, right? Position in the market, whatever. You can take this, you can change this and make it whatever you want to. Position the market, position within the market, whatever it is, the niche, doesn't matter. What are your 3 priorities for the years? It could be something like, one day off. One day off a week. Sorry. It could be management team deployed. It could be new service line. Or you build a new product. It could be sell your business so you can retire. All right. It could be some major things. The major things are going to actually change you and make you really happy. One day off a week, management team to run the business so you can then end up, working 3 days a week or doing 3 days of different activities. It could be hiring a CFO. It could be hiring, a part-time CFO. It could be basically building a product that you always wanted to build, but now you've got the services coming through to actually build some money, put some money aside to build the software product of your dreams. It could be setting your business up to sell to another provider or another competition that basically sets you free. You walk away with 3-4 mil after tax and you go, hey, guess what? That's all I need, right? Things here, you got to talk about the brand promise. The KPIs around the brand promise, really important. You got to talk about what is your brand promise. Like, I have a verbal contract. I mean, I have a contract, but if people don't like it, they can leave. That's the thing. They don't want to be part of the Loading Growth family. They don't want to go on the journey. They're not serious about their growth. Then we can't be serious with them. Yes, some people go up and down. They have problems, marriage issues, staff resign, critical staff problems happen all the time. We understand that, but we bring you back and we focus on what you need to do for the next 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. We actually help you through that process. Okay. The next thing is, what goals do you want to actually achieve for the next year? So you can just copy this, make it year 3, 2, and 1 if you want. Or if you are changing and you're very small, you might say 6, 12, 18 months, or 6, 12, 3 years. You can take that and move that on. Same thing. What do you want to achieve for the goals for year 1? What are the key capabilities you need to achieve the goals? It might be hiring a principal consultant, level 4, whatever it is, whatever you call it in your world, consultant, to free you up. Sign off a partnership, which is a major vendor, software vendor. It could be develop marketing and website strategy. It could be, major things that could be the key capabilities that you need to do to invest in to get you there. Okay. Build IP. I don't know why, but this is a huge area. Services companies do not treat the IP. They may treat it like a bit of methodology, but they don't treat it as an offering, like a real packaged offering, like a product. So I talk to our clients and go, hey, your service, you should treat it like a product, a software product. Because if you don't really treat it like it is, you don't keep on upgrading and new enhancements to it and everything else. That's how you got to think about your service offering. It's a package. Give it a package and you win every time. Get the right results, the right margin. You keep on doing it over and over again, you become a machine. Don't step outside of that package unless it's next phase, phase 2, phase 3. I have clients that when they speak to new prospects now and they don't even have a package offering, talk like it's a package offering and they win their deals, win major deals, okay? because it's a concept. It's not like, oh, let me tell you, okay, you want to do this? Oh, you want to do that? Oh, you want to do this? Okay, I'll come back with a quote. It's 10 pages long. It doesn't mean anything to the freaking customer. They are confused. You're confused of what you're going to deliver. Get off that bandwagon. Build IP. Build packaged offerings. Everyone knows what they're getting in an offering. Very different around services. All right, now, there's certain things you want to have themes every quarter. You want to make it a score, have a scoreboard design so you can track it. You want to have a quarterly rush through this. Make sure that you're really happy. Operational KPIs, all those type of things. Don't worry about that too much. Just fill out the stuff we have talked about if you want to get going on your planning process. Review that on a quarterly basis. Put some time aside. I would say if it's 2-3 of you guys or myself, half an hour to actually sit down and relax, think about this, another half an hour to review, half an hour again to really think about how to improve it, half an hour to update it, like a 2-3 hour process, and you move on for the quarter. You can come back and review that. Okay. Any questions regarding how to set the one-page strategy up? Any questions? All right. I've got 5 minutes to go. Oh, PJ sent me a thing that was about 10 minutes ago. Let me stop for a second. Does that make sense, everyone? PJ, sorry.
Yeah, so we got 5 minutes. I've got to jump on at 12 to other clients, obviously. Today's been a long day. Other clients have dropped off, but obviously they're going to watch the replay. But Joseph, if you got any specific questions for Ian, Nicholas?
No, I'm just. I just want to review the just the work we've done. Thanks very much, Ian, for going through that. I've gone through some of this with you before, and it's always good to review this, just to catch all the things that I've missed along the way.
Great, good stuff, Joseph. Just keep on applying yourself, and you and I and PJ should catch up at some stage. Just talk about where you're at things, and if you're stuck with anything we can help you with. Okay. We're always here to help you out, and you're part of the Loading Growth community, so we want to get you onto the project winners I mentioned early on, because you're going to love it, and get you focused on a few things as well. Okay. If you do that project winner 3 times a year, your sales will just explode. All right. All our clients for do project winner are the guys that do it. I can see it all the time. We do stats with it. Up to 4 mil turnover, project winner is a must for you guys. Anything 4 mil and above, our clients are on the habitual thing to do it themselves as they do it. It's very interesting. So some clients say to me, Ian, I want to do it. No, you're doing 8 mil. You've done it so many times. You don't need to do it anymore. Come back and do this later. Touch this up. But it's the habit of doing it 3 times a year, 21 days every time, and you'll nail it. Come committed and you will win. All right. PJ, anything else you want to bring up?
No, that's it. Thanks for everybody joining us. Those guys on LinkedIn Live who joined us briefly. For those guys who were on the call throughout the 4 hours, it has been a long session. My feet are numb. I can't really feel them. I've got to jump onto another hour session with another client. So I'll be here for another hour, but thanks very much for joining us and being engaged with us. For those guys who are going to watch the recording, if you've got any specific questions, please reach out to us on those mediums, any questions at all. And we'll be able to jump on a call with you guys and review and answer any questions you guys might have.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, PJ. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Nicholas, for joining. Appreciate that as well. And we'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers, everyone. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
Bye. Thanks.